Is Janet from another planet? 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 Is Janet from another planet?
The opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
Today's digital landscape with the spread of false information can lead to dangerous outcomes. It's crucial for everyone to think critically and verify sources and reflect on the impact of what they share. Let's promote responsible communication to ensure that truth prevails and actions remain rooted in reality.
The following program is rated TV MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Friday Night Shit Show. We don't know whether or not Ruben's going to join us yet because he was in the process of moving to Texas to help his brother. So I haven't heard from him yet, but I sent him an invite, so he might just show up. And our American Patriot said he's running late, but he will be joining us later. So thank you for joining me, Chris. How are you this evening?
Thanks for having me. Everything is lovely.
Good. I'm glad because we got a couple of good things coming up tonight, and there's some crappy stuff, but we all know it's heading somewhere. You know what I mean? So that's pretty good. But one thing I wanted to start off with was a friend of mine that's on X was a little upset, I think, because he heard about all the people bitching and moaning about our GDP and stuff like that. So I want to share this with everyone first because I think it's this one. Let me see. Oh, darn it. I can't tell. I hate it when it happens. Just give me a second. I can't believe I can't find it. I just had it a second ago. I think this is it. Okay. Yeah, this is it. Because he was talking, everybody was saying that Senator Rand Paul had posted, we just hit 40 trillion, okay, in debt, right? Well, we have to think about this. He said our GDP is 32.4 trillion today. On November 1st, 2024, our GDP was 29.35 trillion. We are growing our economy more rapidly than adding debt. But how much was this during Obama and Biden's terms? You know what I mean? So, and after COVID, we expected it to be up a little, you know, the debt to go up. But the thing is, nobody's talking about that stuff. You know, they're only doing whatever they can to say it's all on Trump. You see what I mean? And when you put people in office, just like we were talking about last night, we put people in office and you don't give them what they need to be successful, you know, like passing laws or whatever else, you know what I mean? to
Yeah.
get things done, or approving the people they need under them that they've submitted a year ago. They're still waiting for these people to be put in place so they can use them to help them finish the job that they have planned. Then how are they supposed to get anything done? You see what I mean? So you drag your feet, you drag your feet, and you drag your feet, and then you say, look, he hasn't done squat. But they're not pointing at their finger at themselves because they haven't put the stuff on his desk to sign. They force him to make executive orders. You know what I mean? So I just think that's pathetic and pitiful that the people that are dragging their feet are the ones saying, look, we hit 40 trillion, you know, that kind of stuff. I just wanted to share that because that just really pisses me off a little. But I just wanted to start off with that because I think that's bullshit. I mean, it's true. I'm not saying it's not factual, but what I'm trying to say is that it has, look how little it grew in 1 year compared to the years before. And I hope it stays like that. Even though every time he tries to do anything, he has to take it to the Supreme Court to get it fixed, just like he did with the whole building onto the White House. Which president hasn't added onto the White House in some way?
So
Like,
the reason I was looking down, I just looked up something. Do you know who
yeah,
Tiffany is?
sounds familiar.
Yeah, she was on Trump's election team. Anyway, she's very nice. I just put a graph up that she made that would go with what you were just saying a second ago. It
Is it on
answers.
your X?
I just put it on Discord where you
Okay, hold
sent me
on.
the link.
All right, hold on. Let me.
Yeah, it's something that she made and it's on X. And I mean, it answered every question you just asked. I had seen it earlier today. It's really, really good. I commented on it when I saw it. Shouldn't they just have added Biden's to
Oh
Obama's?
yeah, Patriot Savvy. Yeah, I remember her. I follow her on whatever the other one is, the Truth
Yeah,
Social, whatever.
Tiffany's a very sweet person.
Yeah. Yeah, we were friends before she started working for doing stuff for Trump. So
I
yeah,
remember when she got hired too.
I want to pull that one up. Okay, can you see it?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Which presidency actually grew wages? Okay, so does she speak during this too?
No, it's just something.
Oh, okay, here we go. Good. Okay, one more time, and then I'm gonna hear it.
She had another one too. I'm gonna go find it.
Yeah, I'm gonna pause that for a second. That is pretty good. I like this. So that is really smart for her to do that because so many people were complaining and griping about it. And somebody today said something to me when I was getting gas, because I told you I went and filled up my truck with gas because I don't like to get low, especially when you're out in the boonies. And
Yeah.
someone had said something about, I can't believe how expensive gas is, blah, blah, blah. And I said, yeah, I can understand why a person who's, you know, trying to be conservative with their money and not wasting their money would do it. But the people that I hear complaining are the ones that are spending $30 every day at the drive-thru at McDonald's, you know, when they could be making their own sandwiches or whatever and taking it to work, stuff like that. So if you're complaining that gas this much when you're spending stuff for Uber Eats and you're spending money at the drive-through where you could get 3 meals at a sit-in restaurant, diner, or whatever for the price of one drive-through meal, stuff like that, or making it yourself, soup and a sandwich at home or a salad, it's just ridiculous. And you don't really have the right to complain about gas when you're wasting money in other ways. It's just ridiculously stupid. Because you're not trying to be conservative with your money. I remember when I first got married, I cut coupons from the Sunday paper, everywhere I could get them. And I shopped at 3 different grocery stores so I could get like the free loaf of bread or the free gallon of milk if you spend $50 at their store or whatever, that type of stuff. I did all that stuff. I was a huge clipping coupon person. Trying to save money so that I could save money for bunk beds for my girls or something, stuff like that. But I guess I'm just cheap. That's what I call myself,
Hey,
cheap. No,
let me
you're
just interrupt you 1 second.
go ahead.
When you pop that up, I'm like, oh, that's not the one I was looking at. I sent you another one. Put
That's
the
the one
other
I
one.
just clicked on.
No, I
Oh,
sent you another one
you
since
sent
that.
2? Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
And I'll
So
go over and get that one.
look at that one because that's the one that's got about the deficit and the gross domestic product.
Okay, hold on. Well, that one wasn't there. When I first looked, there was only one
Oh
link.
no, yeah, I sent it while you were talking.
Okay, so let me stop that one and
It took
close
me a
it.
second to realize that was the wrong one. I'm
And
getting so blind, so help me God, I can't
it's all
see
right.
anything.
It's okay. It's no big deal. And hold on. Let me get this open here. Okay. I'm gonna pause it. It looks the same, but
Yeah, they look the same, but you'll see the difference. That the other
okay.
one was about percentage and
Wait.
jobs.
Darn it. Hold on.
Yeah, this one's about gross domestic
All right.
product.
Now I got to go back here and I got to open it up on this side, on this sheet thing, Tiffany's page. Then I got to go back because when I make it big, I can't see anything except for her post. So here we go. That's why I can't even click on any of the links I have on the top. So,
Got you.
okay. So here we go. Sorry, I have to watch it again. So I'm trying to look at everybody.
That's it.
That's a,
Now looking at that, what I believe about that is they should really add Biden and Obama's together. I think it's kind of consensus. Everybody knows that it was really Obama in charge of Biden's White House. I
well, the
don't believe
thing
anybody
is,
believes different than that.
what's interesting about this whole thing is the pallets in the middle of the night. It's not so much the debt, okay? I'm not thinking about just the debt, okay? Everybody has to spend money depending on what's going on around the world, what's going on, how many disasters we've had, all that stuff, right? On top of what we're building, whether we're building ships or, building up our military, all that stuff matters. It's what it's being spent on that, to me, that makes this important. So yeah, it looks bad. All of it looks bad when you spend money, but what are they spending it on? See, to me, that would be a real good breakdown if we could figure out a way to do that. So hold on, let me bring Richard up. Welcome, Richard. We were
Hello.
just showing this little link that Chris shared, showing which president added the most to the debt. And then what was the other one again?
Which one produced the
First
most
one I
jobs?
played was what?
Most jobs, percentage
Oh,
of
most
jobs
jobs that were
created.
added during their terms. Okay, so that's pretty good. But this Trump's first administration, the one that's on this? This says
Yes.
Trump won. Okay,
Yeah.
because that was under COVID. That was when all that
Yeah.
shit was going down too. So yeah.
Yeah, remember they all the money that they sent out during COVID, the rebates or whatever it was they wanted to call it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so yeah, that was big time debt right there.
Yeah, Trump too is the fourth one, and that's 2.85 trillion. So that's a tremendous difference. Now, let's talk about what that difference is.
Yeah, go ahead.
Obama started USAID. Trump got in there and he didn't really know about USAID. What this is what I know about who knew about USAID, okay? I went to the number one intelligence agency for our entire DOD, right? V doesn't get any higher. And I went in and I was talking to them about all of the Fauci stuff and giving them all the information I had and talking to them about the mess that happened in Gaza because I had heard about that before it happened. And that's basically why I went, because they wanted to know, what was your resource and blah, blah, blah. So I was talking to them about all that other stuff. And I got to the page in my book about USAID and who I'd been tracking for years. And I knew about the NGOs and the corruption. And I had it all written in this little book. And they're like, man, we'd never even heard of USAID. I'm like, yeah, I hadn't heard about it either. You know where I found out about USAID? Tracking grants, that the ones that, Fauci lied about grants. That's his contempt of court. That's the contempt of court that Marines was arrested on this week or pled guilty to. He
Yeah.
pleaded out. And so those grants were the issue all along. Well, when I looked into those grants, then I was tracking the money from the grants backwards, and every bit of it came up to USAID. So then I started looking into them more. And then the ties between them and BlackRock, because all the money that they were getting from USAID went to the top 10 financial holders in BlackRock.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like Pfizer's in the top 10, Moderna's in the top 10, Johnson and Johnson. So all that USAID money was going to them. BlackRock, was in there. It's like, oh my God, what the hell? Peter Thiel himself was in there.
Yeah.
Right? So that's where I got everything I gave to Elon when they were going in for Doji to target the information we needed, because I actually had grant numbers and all that kind of stuff. And once they got in there, they could see what I saw. But the Army's highest level top people had never even heard of USAID. So there's when the corruption is done being uncovered, people are going to really be shocked. And if you look at that chart, there's no debt, right? And all of a sudden Obama's in there and it like quadruples. And then Trump is only 7 billion and Biden's more than him. In the end, if you add Trump and Trump's two together, and then you add Biden and Obama, which I think is feasibly right. I think we all know that Biden was not running this country. And, you just have to assume who was. Well, the most powerful Democrat, obviously. So if you add all those up, it's like Trump's 2 terms are a fraction of the two of them put together, maybe a little less than half. And that's what I think is the big issue there. But that was all the USAID money.
Yeah. Yeah. And to me, stopping the fraud is saving us trillions of dollars, especially since a lot of it has already been voted on so that they can spend it, right? So to stop them from being able to take it because they were voted on something that was fraud, because it makes them look like dumbasses. And I can see why a lot of them don't want Trump around, because the ones who voted to send all that money, to Africa to make that gay transition comic book, some of the other crap that it's been spent on. And we keep showing all these videos proving fraud here and there, fraud in cheating, fraud in the, in the healthcare system, and all, just all this different fraud and how lame it was. I mean, heck, last night we talked about, what was it, 100 different people were caught using the exact same social security number.
I think it was 1,000, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a buttload.
It was a lot. It might have been 10,000 if I
100's
remember.
a lot, but
Yeah.
the fact that they had that many people registered to vote, and supposedly people were saying, well, that's great, they're paying taxes. Well, not really. They don't have to pay taxes, especially if they're getting government, money. They're getting government money, but now they can vote and then get a driver's license because they have a social security number. So it's, even though it's the same one, and you'd think if you put it in the system and someone else had put it in the system, when that would pop up, it'd be Joe Blow over there and Jack Jill over there, their names wouldn't match up. But apparently people aren't doing their jobs, and that's the part of the problem, is the people that just clicked away and didn't do anything when they found it. They should also be fired and prosecuted because they let the fraud happen. They didn't follow
It
through.
wasn't that though. If you looked at it, you're a racist. If you look at it, you're a bigot. You're a misogynist.
I
You're
don't
an
care.
Islamophobe.
I've been
I'm
called
telling you
all
that.
those things.
I know,
And
but that's what they did. They attacked people so hard, Janet. You have no idea. I'm telling you.
I get
They
death
attacked.
threats and stuff. I know what
It
it's
was
like.
bad.
I lost jobs. I didn't get hired for jobs because I didn't get the jab. So I'm just saying, I understand what it's like. I understand people saying they want to come in my house at night and cut my throat in my sleep, stuff like that. I understand what that's like. It's scary, but I just said, fuck you. I don't care. I don't need this job. If I have to get a jab to prove that I'm worthy or whatever, forget it, And now they're begging people to work because people are sick. They can't even get enough people to fill the work that they have. So, and that's on them. They did it to themselves by forcing people against their will to do stuff that they didn't want to do, and it drove people away. So I work more for independent companies and stuff now than I do for people that pushed me around during that period. So screw them. I don't care if they do without. They did that to themselves. But okay, so now the next thing is some good news that I want to share. So let me open this up. And then I got a few things to go with this. I don't know if you guys saw this. It says at HHS, we are taking bold new actions against Lyme disease and alpha-gal syndrome and other tick-borne illnesses. So I want to play this because I think it's important that you can hear that somebody's doing something. They are trying to make a dent. So here we go.
Hi, I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., your HHS Secretary. I'm joined today by my good friend, actor, and patient advocate, Dennis Quaid. Today, we're announcing bold new actions by the Trump administration to improve care, accelerate research, and speed innovation for Americans living with Lyme disease, with alpha-gal syndrome, and other tick-borne diseases. Too many Americans spend months or even years searching for answers. Too many are misdiagnosed, and too many go untreated. We're changing that.
Nearly 500,000 Americans are diagnosed and treated for Lyme disease annually. Behind every one of those numbers is a person, a family, and a community looking for answers. I know how devastating that search can be. My good friend, the late Chris Christopherson, spent years living with a diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease. But Alzheimer's wasn't the problem. He actually had Lyme disease. And when doctors finally diagnosed him correctly in 2016 and started the right treatment, his symptoms did improve. His story isn't unique, and that's exactly why these new actions matter.
That's why HHS is investing millions in innovation to develop AI-powered tools that improve patient care, enable earlier diagnoses, and accelerate research to help eradicate Lyme disease and other tick-borne illnesses. And we're already delivering results. Over the past 2 years, HHS has worked with the LymeX community to help bring 2 improved FDA-cleared Lyme diagnostics to market, giving clinicians better tools and helping more patients get an accurate diagnosis sooner.
And we're also making it easier than ever for patients, that's you out there, to help move the science forward. If you've had Lyme disease and recovered, or if you were diagnosed with Lyme disease but still suffer lingering symptoms, please share your experience through Cure ID. That's the free FDA and NIH app and website that collects real-world treatment information. And every story shared gives researchers more data, strengthens future clinical trials, helps eliminate misdiagnosis, and improves care for the next patient.
And if you don't yet have a trusted Lyme clinician, we've made that easier too. Visit hhs.gov/Lyme and use the Lyme Clinician Locator to find experienced providers near you using your zip code.
Together, we can advance science, improve care, and give more patients the answers they deserve.
We want to get back to a country where families can enjoy the outdoors again, where kids can spend their summers exploring the woods, camping, fishing, hiking, and playing outside. And parents don't have to wonder whether a single tick bite could change their child's life forever. That's how we make America healthy again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I thought
Producer-
that
He's
was,
not
I
kidding.
thought that was really, really good because I know quite a few people who have been bitten by ticks, and then within a certain amount of time they'd been sick with a fever, they had a rash on their palms, or they had a rash on the bottom of their feet. They were told they shouldn't eat beef. All these different symptoms, but nobody could get really put their finger on it. And they'd give them antibiotics, and they'd give do all these different things, and then they found out they had Lyme disease. And stuff like that. So I think this is great because I've been bit by hundreds of ticks. I even have a hat somewhere that says, do you want me to check you for ticks? That kind of stuff, because it's supposed to be funny, because when you live in the South, get bit by ticks. But I have two other websites I'm going to bring up that have to do with the two diagnoses that they were talking about. So I want to share those, and then I want to share in the chat the different websites. But this is a life with alpha gal red meat allergy. This is from alpha gal when you're diagnosed with that. And the thing is, you may have symptoms and not even realize that's what it is. You might just think you have allergies, or that it's some other illness that if you already had lupus or you had something else, you might think it is one of these other things when you have this. And if you could start treating these things, because look at this. This is a map showing you where the darker blue areas have higher numbers of alpha gal cases. But look at this. Look at the state of Arkansas. I mean, it's terrible because we have lots of ticks. And the best thing to do is to try to make sure you dress appropriately for where you're going to be spending your time, using, different sprays and different things like that. Because a lot of stuff is really good and it works if you use it. Just like, wearing a hat or sunglasses and stuff when you're going to be out in the sun. So there is things that you can do. Let me copy this link real quick, and I'll put it in the chat, and that's for the alpha gal. And then I have another one for Lyme, because you can go yourself and try to make sure that you have something you can
Do you know what those blue areas look like to me, Janet?
What?
Looks like where all the deer populations are. And I went to basic training up at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, and on the ranges there, when we used to go practice shooting and all, man, I'm telling you, that place was crawling with deer. And this disease actually is carried by deer. So if you see deer around, that's when you got to really be careful, like rub vinegar all over your legs and stuff.
You don't even have to see deer. If you're in the woods in Arkansas, any of these places, you have a chance to get a tick, because there are deer there. Because you didn't see it doesn't mean that you don't have deer.
Yeah, I saw a video of a doctor, I think, did it, telling people to wipe their legs down with vinegar before they went in the woods, because they can't bite you if you have vinegar on you. So preventing bites from them is the bigger deal.
But,
all right, now I'm gonna have to go fill my hot tub up with vinegar and jump in that puppy.
Well, here's the other website right here. This is for American Lyme Disease Foundation, and I'm going to share this in the link in there. But there's tons of good stuff on here, and it's got videos about different things you can do. But down here, it has different things about Lyme disease prevention, diagnosis, and treatment, and then other things like tick species, what different ticks look like, different tick-borne illnesses, prevention, diagnosis, treatment. It's got a whole bunch of good stuff on here. And see, it talks about the different states, your risks in different states. So it just depends on what your symptoms are, whether you might have one or the other. You may not have neither one. So I want to share this also in the chat. So let me get it. Because to me, I thought that was important to get this information since, you know, Kennedy announced this, and they really want people to get help for the people that haven't been diagnosed properly, and to stop other people from hopefully not getting bit, and to not be afraid to go out in the woods just because you're afraid you might get a tick on you. So just because you get a tick on you doesn't mean it's going to have Lyme disease. But I wanted to share that. So let me stop sharing that one and I'll close it because I did both of those. But yeah, I just thought that was some good news because we do have a person that's in that position that really is trying to make a difference, getting the additives out of the food, doing as many things as he can for your health. And I think that's wonderful. And I'd like to share it if we get the information. But okay, let me go to the next thing that I had on this list here. I tried to do it backwards this time, so it would lay out differently. So I don't know if that'll work or not. But oh, here's something. Hold on. Let me. This was one of the things that popped up, and I thought it was kind of interesting because a lot of people talked about it when it first happened, about the chef that drowned near Obama's property. So I wanted you guys to hear this.
Yeah, the Obama's personal chef.
Yeah.
We have new information tonight in the drowning death of Obama's personal chef, Tafari Campbell. The Massachusetts State Police responded to our FOIA request and released their report with some redactions. According to the report, Obama was on the scene shortly after Campbell went missing. Report also states an unmanned female staffer jumped into the water when Tafari fell off his board, but it was already too late. He disappeared. We also now know that Secret Service has surveillance footage of Campbell from Obama's compound moments before he entered the water. So we're going to see if we can get that, and we may have that for you. Again, we're very, very sorry for Tafari's family. That was a serious, serious tragedy.
That's interesting that they're getting all this information. But if we had someone else as president, I doubt any of this would even be out. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we need to, I guess you guys are going to have to, I guess we're going to have to keep our mics off when we're not speaking or whatever, because I don't know how to not have an echo. I mean, I just don't. And I don't have my Discord on, so I know that that's not from me. But I just wanted to share that really quick. Let me turn that down. Okay. Sorry. All right. Let me pull up the next thing I had on my list. Oh, here we go. This was the other thing that went with what Kennedy was talking about. I wanted to share this because this is some other information about it. So let me pause. Oops, sorry, trying to make it a little, turn it off. It's showing that 96% of alpha-gal syndrome patients declared complete remission after they had ear acupuncture. Was it you that said that you were one of you that told me that you did some acupuncture and it was helping you? Wasn't that you?
I did.
Okay,
it's been helping a lot.
That's why I thought this was interesting and I wanted to share it, because I remembered somebody had told me, yeah, that was helping you. And I've had few other friends say for different things, like a knee, I had a bad knee, someone had a bad elbow, and they tried acupuncture and they said they were shocked that it actually helped. So I wanted to play this for everyone because this is very good stuff. And I like this doctor. He seems like, for someone so young, very, very smart. But here we go.
A study came out and found a 96% remission rate of alpha-gal syndrome in those who underwent this auricular acupuncture procedure. And so as you can see to the right, it's a very strange procedure. I never would have thought this would have worked, but you can't argue with 96% eating meat again. So they touch a bottle of alpha-gal allergen. They touch the outside of the bottle. They use some sort of electrical detection device on the ear to identify the spot where to place the needle. They place the needle into the optimal spot. They put tape there, leave it there for 3 weeks. When the 3 weeks are up, they take it out, and 96% of them could eat meat again after slowly reintroducing it. So this is extraordinarily promising. If I had alpha-gal syndrome, I would for sure undergo this procedure. A study came out and found
amazing. That is amazing. Because when I quit smoking, I went to a specialist in outside of Parker, Texas, and they did laser acupuncture. Okay, I don't know if that makes sense or not, but they took lasers and they touched different spots on my ears and on my wrists, and I think on my face or something like that. I can't remember. It was years ago. It was almost 20 years ago when I did it, and they told me by doing it, it raised your endorphin levels. And they said that within 48 hours, the nicotine should be out of my system, and that I would have to find something else to replace the habit of this. You know what I mean? So I started crocheting. That's when I started crocheting more and more, and it worked. It worked because I never picked up another cigarette. I don't know how I did it, but it actually did help me. And I had a couple other friends that went there and had it done, and they were able to quit. But they were supposed to be able to help you also with, not eating bunches of crap, junk food, and things like that for you to lose weight, and some other things like that. So I was real impressed. So I really do think acupuncture is a really good thing that can help people. But the thing is, we have to have more studies to get the information like you was explaining, so that you can see the results and know that if that many people out of this study were able to do it, then it works, and that people should have the benefit of getting to try it and see if it helps them. So I'm not on Google. I use I'm on shit. I can't remember the name of it. There's no name on there. It's just a wave. So I think it's Microsoft or whatever is what I'm on. But it says, I'm trying to read what he said here. It says, what browser are you using? When you share it, use the first option, share a tab in that browser, not share screen. I don't know what that means. I don't understand what you're saying. You have to I don't know, explain it better than that. I'm sorry, I'm not really smart when it comes to that. No, I don't have Brave. I don't have Brave. I do have Windows, but I don't understand what you mean by the sharing thing. It's not clicking.
I think you're using an app to do this broadcast. And what he's saying, if that app is on a browser, you can add a new tab to the top, like extra open web pages. And then when you click on that tab, it plays to your broadcast, just takes all of us off the screen and goes to full screen. So that's what he's referring to. You're actually playing that, and there's a delay in the digital processing. It's really small, but that's what it is, and that can make an echo, and then the echo reverberates.
But I've been doing exactly the same thing since I first started almost 5 years ago.
Yeah, I think it's per video.
Did an update, and it's been doing that ever since. It's the
But my computer does all the
something in
updates.
this latest update that they did is got the whenever you are sharing a screen, that's what's causing the echo, and it's really aggravating because it's not just you; it's a whole bunch of us that's been having to deal with it.
Yeah, I don't hear the echo on every video. It's just like once.
Only, I don't know what it is. It's only every now and again that it happens, and when it does happen, it's a real pain in the butt.
I know, but I don't hear it. So I don't hear an echo. So I don't know. I have no idea. I can't fix something if I don't know what it is, or really have,
Gosh.
if I don't have someone sitting next to me to show me how to do it. I have to watch 25 to 30 videos of other people doing it before I can learn how to do it. And the guy better be 10, because if he's 10 years old and explains it to me, then I'll be able to.
Well, Janet, to get back to the topic, I went to a Dr. Clifford in White House, Tennessee. It was just north of Nashville, right in the Hendersonville area.
Yeah.
And he was an actual Indian witch doctor. And I don't know if we talked about this before, but I'll mention it again. I got acupuncture from him, but he treated my allergies, and it was so bizarre because he didn't like test you. He asked you what you were allergic to, and then he would prep these. He had a series that he would go through where he prepped these bottles, and they were little glass bottles that had a cork in them, and he would shake them around your body. So help me God, when I was going to him, it was the only time in my life I didn't have horrible sinus trouble. I mean, whatever he was doing, it worked. But he was also my chiropractor. So you would go in and, you can go in one room and get acupuncture, and your muscles would get all relaxed and you'd feel really good. And then he'd take you in there and shake those glasses around you. And it was always really calm. He was a gifted man, to say the least, spiritually. He could really interact with you. After that, you'd go get on the chiropractor table, and he'd come and extend it and sort of stretch you out and come back in 10 minutes. And man, that guy, boy, he'd loosen you up. It'd last for a week, A lot of chiropractors, you have to go every other day, but that guy, he had his little routine. But he was a witch doctor, an acupuncturist, and a chiropractor. And almost everybody that does the kind of work I do in our group, we all went to him. Every one of us did. He was really good at it. Anyway, that's my experience with it. The VA does it.
Richard had
Acupuncture's been really good. It's helped a lot. I just wished I could go twice a week, keep back up to the where I was seeing him twice a week, because doing it only once a week, it's wearing off and the pain is starting to hit me. Because I go on Mondays, and yeah, the pain's hitting me right now, and it's not cool. But yeah, I hate to do this. I'm gonna have to run. I am sorry, Miss Janet.
Okay, well, I understand.
But please have a blessed evening, and y'all be good to each other.
Okay, thank you.
Good night, Richard.
Good night.
Night.
But this next thing I wanted to bring up, to me, was very startling and sad at the same time, that this would happen to anyone. But I'm sure it happens way more than we even realize it does. And I wanted to share this. I'm going to push pause on it. As it's going. This is that woman that was supposedly killed by the cartel, the Peruvian attorney. Did you see it already?
I mean, I haven't seen it. No, I heard all about it, but I haven't seen that.
It's not gory or anything. It's the reaction from these people that are sitting around at the table with her, and that her back is to this open wall, or open, outdoors thing. And people were complaining and saying she was stupid to sit with her back to this. But the thing is, even if she was sitting here or here or here, she was still a target. You see what I mean? Because she's sitting in an open area. So what are you supposed to do? Start hiding and never going anywhere anymore? So to me, the whole thing is being hyped for fear. To get people to say, if you get life-threatening stuff, which I have. I mean, I don't have a position like her, and I've just had people say it to me online, but they don't have my phone number. Things like they can't call me or send me hate mail because nobody's figured out exactly what my address is, stuff like that. But
Janet, I don't understand what I'm looking at there. I mean,
Okay,
that it looks like there's fire behind him, but if you look to the left, it looks like the wall's on
no,
fire.
it is a wall. This is a wall with like a thing of beer and some fire with an open pit showing you, I guess, these different drinks that
Oh, I
were.
guess it's the it's the
It's
paint
a
on
Yeah, it's an
paint on the
ad.
wall.
It's like a big all ad on the wall right
Yeah.
there behind this gentleman. And then there's a woman, and they're sitting here eating and having a few drinks, and they're on their phones and talking at a restaurant. It says, cartel gunman kills a Peruvian attorney, Helen Gucciani Salva Padilla, 43, a Peruvian attorney, assassinated. On 15th of August, she was shot in the head at close range by a helmeted, he's got a helmet on, cartel gunman through the bars of this little restaurant that they're eating at. And she was seated with co-workers, and police suspect it's related to the case against the cartel capo, whoever it is. But the reason I'm playing it is because it's all the rigmarole from people posting it and griping and telling people how stupid she was to have her back to the road and to be out in the open like this. I mean, that's what I'm trying to make sense of. Is anyone has a job that has to do with courts, medical. I mean, that guy was just walking down the street, that CEO of that insurance company. So what I'm asking is, I'm trying to get the people to realize, what are the people supposed to do? Stay at home and never go anywhere, never do anything? Have armed guards take you to work? I mean, who can afford that?
Janet, do you know what I see in that picture that really troubles me? And I've blown it up a lot, and I'm looking,
Yeah.
right?
What?
That girl that's on the other side has taken her. No, the one in the little brown sleeveless
right here.
backless dress. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's leaned over to that guy as though they're in a conversation, right? The other guy's looking down on the phone, but what she's done is she's got herself out of alignment with that girl's head. And the guy that it looks like she's talking to, look at his eyebrows and look where he's looking. He's looking behind her. And that look in his brow, he's stressed out. See his hands up at his mouth. There's certain signals, that you can see in people's body behavior. And when people
you can watch the whole video.
Yeah, I want to see how they react. I'm just telling you that already doesn't look right to me.
Well, the thing is that somebody, apparently they're following her all the time, or they knew exactly where she was going to be. So that's what's sad about it, is that you can't have a public life if you're not in public. And people are going to find out, if they pay enough attention to you, sooner or later they're going to figure out what you're, when you go to the gym or when you go to the grocery store, all those things. So here we go. What was sad to me is that not
let that play through. Let it play through one more time. I want to see that again.
Okay,
I swear to God, the girl in the brown dress ducks before the gunshot goes off. They knew.
Yeah, they might have, but the thing is, what's sad is this guy. He was the first one I noticed. He fell over when it happened because he realized it took a few seconds, but as soon as he realized, he was, it's fight or flight. And that's what's normal reaction, right? It's the fact that not one person goes over to see if she's okay or what they can do for her. Not one person. Nobody.
Yeah, right. I'm telling you, I think they watch it real close, and before that round goes off, they jump, and then their secondary reaction, this may sound really gross, but pink mist, when it hits you, it's 98.6 degrees, and it has tissue attached to it, right?
Yeah.
And it splats your body. Even if you shoot somebody who's like 4 feet in front of you, that comes backwards and hits you. It's called pink mist.
Yeah.
And it looks to me like they ditch, right? Then he shoots, and then when the pink mist hits them, then they jump up. To me, that's what it looks like. And I've reviewed a lot of video of homicides and some of the work I've done.
This was released by the Homeland Security News. So I just wanted
Yeah,
you
it
guys to
looks
know.
like, it just looks really like they knew. I'm telling you, I got this funny
Well,
feeling they
somebody
knew.
knew because somebody either informed them that she was going to be here having lunch or dinner, an early dinner, because it looks very daylight out. The sad truth is that I didn't even know anything about it until yesterday when people were talking about her putting her back to the road. They're putting all the blame on this woman because she was out and about living her life. And that's sad. You know, it's sad that people would blame her for going out to eat and not paying attention to where she sits. You sit with your back to the wall. You sit and, do this kind of stuff. And I'm like, I've never lived my life that way. Uh, I don't know. I don't know if I could. I've lived my life the way I have so long. I don't know if I could change it. But here we go.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they react before the gun goes off.
They what?
They react before the gun is fired. And really they couldn't. The girl is the one who's reacting that bothers me because she couldn't see that guy from the other side of her. They expected it, I promise you. I can just tell,
Well, we should know more here soon when they're investigating it,
I mean,
supposedly.
you can see, look at even the chair that girl was in. She literally had her chair pulled all the way over to that leg, right? And she was leaning to the right besides that, right? That if I knew somebody was fixing to get their head blown off in front of me, I wouldn't sit right behind them either. You never know. Chunks of bone and all kind of stuff come out. You
Well,
can
the
get
fact
hurt.
that she even sat at the table with her was ballsy if she knew, is what I'm saying. So I would say, I'll be right back. I'd go to the ladies' room or something if I knew that something was about to happen. You know what I mean? So what I'm just saying, just because she's acting like she might know something, doesn't mean she does. So that's why I'm going to wait and see. Because if
Well,
I
she didn't
knew,
run over there to help. I'm going to
no,
tell you
nothing.
that. I mean, they
Even
just left her there. It's like,
yeah, this
yeah.
guy stands up. Look, he doesn't go over. My first instinct, if it's my friend and I'm out with them, I'd be running over to see if they were all right because it happened so quickly. And plus, look, I don't see anything all over the table and stuff. It doesn't look like, really bad anything happened. So I would want to check on my friend. Yeah,
No,
but
that gunshot went right into her brain stem, and
yeah,
that's there's 7 places you can shoot someone that the instant the bullet hits, they're dead, and that's primo number 1. If
well,
that's
I
where
have
you
got
can
this.
get them, that's where you. That's what that guy was aiming for on Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, it's terrible. This is very sad, but I feel sorry for her family and she. I hope they catch the people that did this for her, because people should be able to do their jobs and not be worried about going out and having lunch with their friends and things like that and being able to enjoy their lives. And I just think this is heartbreaking because it's really sad that what people are saying. Yeah, see, all these people, some of these people are saying nice stuff. Um, See, the guy's got his phone right there, like he was making sure he had the right person and what they were wearing or whatever. So, oh, proof of death is required, whatever that means. I guess he has to take a picture or something. I don't know, or video while he's
No,
doing.
it's like you don't see blood, that kind of wound right there. Oh my God. I mean, it pumps out like an oil well, and but the way that she's leaning forward, it could have been just going down her shirt, but even still, you would have seen it on the ground. There's a lot about that video that makes me, maybe she got death threats from the cartel, and they're like, all right, we're going to do a fake hit, and you're going to move to America. I mean, I'm around some pretty crazy stuff. You'd be surprised what they'll do.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I didn't even know anything about it until people were saying that she shouldn't have sat with her back to the street and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's really terrible, you know, for people to say that kind of stuff instead of saying what a horrible thing to happen to her, things like that. And the fact that not one person ran over to help her, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm losing
the
faith.
video doesn't look legitimate to me.
Well,
There's just something about it.
I'm losing faith in humanity because people do not react. I mean, they pull their cell phones out and take videos of people getting beat up in the street and stuff. I mean, it's sad. The whole thing is just, it's heartbreaking to me. And I wish that more people would start talking about that part of it. Get over there and help them. Do
I
something.
love all them old Clint Eastwood movies y'all do, right? He didn't pull a cell phone out. He pull his gun out, and he always talks to the Undertaker. Every town he ever goes, he goes, you're gonna need about 4 more of those. You're gonna need 7 of those. You know, that's what it reminds me of. People pull their cell phones out now because they think they're gonna go viral. It's like, I don't know, man. Take a gun out and shoot that son of a bitch and see if people don't quit doing it.
I just think it's terrible. But this was something I thought was pretty interesting. It says more than 100,000 illegals have been mailed huge fines by the Trump administration for being in America illegally.
Mm-hmm.
So they have their address. How come they haven't went to their house and arrested them? I thought that was kind of interesting.
They've gotten a lot of people out of here, Janet.
Well, I know, but the fact they're doing this, but listen, it says a Michigan immigrant recently opened his mailbox and learned the federal government was fining him $579,838. He's one of the more than 100,000 people who's gotten one of these new fines under the Trump administration. The goal of issuing these fines is to encourage self-deportation or face financial ruin. I guess that is kind of smart, but there is a video that goes along with this. So here we go.
I bet you money on those stupid betting apps. People are betting on how many of those 100,000 are going to leave and how many they're going to have to go apprehend. I guarantee you that they're betting on it. Yeah.
But here we go. I'm going to play this for you. Make sure it's turned up. There we go.
A Michigan immigrant recently opened his mailbox and learned the federal government was fining him $579,838. He's one of more than 100,000 people who's gotten one of these new fines under the Trump administration. The civil penalties are being issued against people who have deportation orders but remained in the United States. They've been legal since 1996, but they were rarely used until President Donald Trump took office again. Under the law, the federal government can charge someone $998 for every day they stayed in the country after an immigration judge ordered them removed. They max out at $1.8 million or 5 years. The Trump administration is using these fines to pressure people into self-deporting. The federal government says if someone leaves on their own, the fines will be erased and they'll be offered a free flight and a $2,600 exit bonus. But it puts many immigrants in an impossible situation. For some, they've lived in the United States for years, but the federal government couldn't deport them because they might have been stateless or their home country wouldn't accept them. Now they need to choose between paying a massive fine or leaving the lives they've built. I spoke to the Michigan immigrant's attorney about his case, and she said he's been here since at least 1981. He's married to a U.S. citizen, and he's been taking care of her ever since she was diagnosed with cancer. She also said there's no way they'll be able to pay more than $500,000 in fines. The federal government says it's issued about $84 billion in these fees over the past year, but it's only collected $1.2 million. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security also did not say how many people have chosen to self-deport instead of pay one of these fines.
For these illegals, these new penalties are a big deal. Now, of course, there's the issue if they're currently in America and they're trying to do something. So if they get these penalties, it is going to be able to be collected via wage garnishment, bank account freezes, asset seizures, tax refunds, and credit reporting. So there's the penalties while they're here in America, but for these illegals, there's actually a bigger issue for them if they get these penalties. So here it is, the immigration benefits and future applications. So right now, they'll already get barred for 5, 10 years, even permanent in some cases. But here's where these penalties become an even bigger issue for illegals. If they get these penalties, then the unpaid civil penalties can be considered for future immigration proceedings and may need to be addressed or paid prior to be given a visa. So it's not only that it's going to mess them up while they're here right now in America, if they get caught by ICE and then deported, they will then have to pay these massive fines before they're able to get a visa again. So it'll basically make it impossible for them to ever come back. So if you are an illegal, this is your time right now to self-deport. It is your only option.
That's a lot of money. The thing is that the people, a few people that I have talked to that knows someone that is living here, that have been here for 20 years or more, working, and they're married. Okay, they married someone, and or they're living with somebody, but they've been living with them and they have kids together. But I'm like, well, why haven't you just applied? Since you're already here, you're working, you got a job, you're doing all these things, but you're not paying taxes because you don't have a social security number, because you're not a citizen yet, all this different stuff. And they just say, I don't know. That's what most of them say. I don't know why I haven't applied. So another thing I would do is, if you know they're illegal like that, why don't you send them citizen form papers to fill out so they can start their trip towards being a citizen, and then pay monthly towards their fine until they get their citizen papers. See what I mean? Something like that. To me, I don't understand why you'd be here that long and never applied. If you like living here and you're raising a family here, why wouldn't you want to be a citizen of this country?
Well, these are the immigration reforms I think that need to be looked at. Okay, they have talked about, first off, NAFTA was the first real problem. But
Yeah.
let's talk about let me just remind everybody about what was going on there. Jeb Bush had a child with an illegal immigrant who was the house servant, whatever, the cook, the chef, whatever, took care of the rooms for the George Herbert Walker Bush's family. Right? George was there, and all of them, all a bunch of them, So he has an affair with her. They get married. She's much older than him. Very similar to the situation with that the Canadian prime minister in age difference, right? So he enables NAFTA. He writes all the bills for all of that stuff for NAFTA while he's in office. That was the first bill that Clinton signed. Everyone blamed Clinton for that. But the way it works in Congress and all of that, bills carry over to the next president, and it takes years to work something like that out. That was the beginning of kind of the freedom of you can come and go from Mexico or Canada, because it was a North American free trade agreement. So that opened up both borders. And so that you have to look at all of that. Now, let's just talk about that situation, though. Here's the president of the United States, and he's got an unregistered citizen here, right? He couldn't even do it, right? So they've been talking about the reforms that would have taken away all the roadblocks he had for his daughter-in-law. Obviously, they have a good relationship, and George and Barbara loved her like their own daughter, but even he couldn't do anything. So you have states' rights, right? Well, this person's here, they're working. We're going to register them with the state. So they register them with the state's taxes and all this. What is FICA? FICA's federal. So if these people don't take all that stuff they got from the state and go down to, I've earned my citizenship, I'm a citizen of this state, then that paperwork gets sent to the federal government. So then they can start getting a W-2 and a W-4 and have FICA tax paid out. So in the end, and it's just the truth, big farmers and all those things that machines can't do, they need these migrant farm workers, right? I didn't know anything about immigration until that time in COVID when I was stuck in the ER with the father of a guy in the back, and his job was, he was the migrant welfare officer for the state of Tennessee. Man, my heart poured out. I'm telling you, it hurt because I had attitudes about that. And when I was a young kid, like 8 to 14, I lived in San Antonio, Texas, and we had an open borders. Henry Gonzalez was his name. He hated America. He would pay for people to beat immigration law. That's 1971 or 72. So this is not something new. And it's Congress who has avoided dealing with immigration and making a way for people who contribute to this country to pay taxes. And in my most recent dive, when I wanted to go to, can we reenact the law from 1952 that was banned that said Muslims couldn't come here? Grok came back and said, well, that's not what it said. What it said was Asians could migrate here. And then it told me that in 1944, just 8 years before that, was the first time that a Muslim ever applied for naturalization. And the guy had his family here for like his whole life and ran a $2.5 billion industry, right? So then I'm going, all right, well, tell me what the very first immigration law was. And it's the law said the only people who can migrate to the United States of America, immigrate here, have to be white and they have to be from a free country. And then there's this disclaimer in there. All right, I'm Native American, part African actually, and Irish, and Scottish, and I got some Norwegian, and I'm what Americans are. Heinz 57, right? Mm-hmm. So Irish people weren't considered white. Italian people were not considered white. Spanish people were not considered white. Slavs weren't considered white, right? So people talk about, oh, slavery this, slavery that, reparations. All the people that I just said that came from those countries came here and they were living in servitude. And it was miserable in the slums and ghettos in New York, right? Tammany Hall, that area where there were literal street fights where men would slice each other up with knives. I mean, people don't look back at America for what it really was. We had to fight for this. We had to cut all these forests down to go west. We would come across Native Americans. They did the same thing I would. Where are you coming from? This is our land, right? Yeah. But they didn't even see it like it was our land. It's like, this is Mother Earth. Why are you cutting all these trees down and shitting all in the woods? It stinks, right? I mean, their attitudes about the cleanliness of life and respect of Mother Earth and all that, man, that, they had a pristine place over here. But the fact that you look at the violence and all of it and the segregation, it was segregated because people wanted it segregated, right? You don't want to be around people you don't like.
Well, yeah, most people, when you are moving, let's say you're going to move to another state and you're going because you got a job there or whatever, and you start looking for a place to live, you're going to go to a neighborhood to rent an apartment close to where you want your kid to go to school. And that has good shopping, so you can go to the grocery store quickly, or you want to be outside of town because you don't want to be in the city part or whatever. So you're looking around to see where you feel like you want to live. That's first off. But it also has to be somewhere you can afford to live. So sometimes people have to compromise and live somewhere less appealing simply because they can't afford to start out with their new job in that other place because it's too expensive. So, a lot of people have to take what they can afford. So, that's the way it is.
Yeah, I don't have a racist bone in my body. I mean, my dad goes to Vietnam, right? My mom's like, oh, I'm not taking my children over there, blah, blah, blah. He's there about 6 months. She goes, all right, we're moving to Japan, right? I'm not even out of diapers yet. And she had to go back to America because my brother got like this really horrible intestinal disease they couldn't treat. Mm-hmm. And she left me there with this girl named Susie Cody Machku, who was supposed to be my nanny. But the whole time I was with her, she spoke Japanese, and that was when I was learning how to talk. Man, I got more ass whippings from my mom for speaking Japanese than you could shake a stick at. And then we moved to San Antonio, which was like 50% Mexican. Then we moved to Augusta, Georgia, is like 50% black. I've never lived anywhere was white majority till I moved to Nashville, Tennessee. And when I got there, I was like, man, these people are racist. I mean, I hate to say it, but that's just the way it was. They were really still racist.
But see,
I
I
went to
grew
this
up
one
on
town up
military
there. It said,
bases.
don't let the sun set on your black ass in my county. And it was the county sheriff. I swear to God, it was 2002.
Yeah. I grew up on military bases, and the school, we had everybody, it was all races. I don't remember it being a lot more blacks or Hispanics or Asian or whites. It was a mixture of people all the time.
Yeah, military bases for sure.
So
Iranians,
I just
Egyptians, all
never,
of it.
that's what I tell people. I said, I didn't get to be exposed really to any kind of racism until I was almost an adult. When my dad finally got out of the military and we had to move to Arkansas. But I also didn't really get it then either, because the school that I went to for my, from like, what was it, seventh up until I graduated, was like a school that had less than 300 students from kindergarten to seniors. It was a teeny tiny little school because that was a little bitty town. So my mother wanted to live near where her parents had their property, and they weren't rich, so they lived in this little tiny town in the middle of Arkansas. So that was, there was different races. There was a lot of, I guess they were Cambodian or whatever that moved there to work at the chicken plant there. So I don't know. I didn't see a lot of racism there either, and people were into rodeos and everyone seemed friendly and stuff. So I don't know. It wasn't until I got married and started moving around more from Florida. I went to Zion, Illinois, and I went to a lot of different places, and that's when I started saying, wow, these people are total assholes, or different things like that, because I just never saw it before. So I just had a sheltered life, I guess, compared to other people.
Yeah, it's shocking when you don't see it until adulthood. But I wouldn't say it's the systemic problem that Barack Obama said it was. I just don't believe that. Like when I was in the DJ music business, I would get invited to play records in black nightclubs. I worked for James Brown. I was into funky music, and I knew all the funk bands, and I could get them to come play clubs and stuff like that. I swear to you, sometimes I would be the only white person in a room with 500 black people in there, and they never made me feel different one time. So I think it's where are you?
I wanted to ask you a question. A person just posted this in the chat. It says, so if we ever find out 2020 winner didn't win at all, what will happen? Saying how I am saying to because of YouTube. So
yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what I think.
I don't know what will happen.
This is the reality that we have this is my view. I'm glad you put it's an opinion before the show, because I don't want to, but this is just what I think. When they prove, let's not say if they prove, let's say when they get everything piled up and they realize that not only was the 20 election stolen, but the guarantee, the plan they had with the fake dossier and all that kind of stuff, and that Vindman hearing and with Schiff the Ukraine hoax and all that. It's like, okay, wait. If they go through all of that, what we basically have is we have President Trump in office, and he legitimately won already his election. And then he's won another election he hasn't been able to serve as the president, because under the auspices of the Treason Act Obama used to not lose presidential power, and they drug all that out and then tried to, Letitia James, they wanted him in jail. Why? Because all this stuff I'm saying is true, right? That's the problem. So can he run a third time, or will they just allow him to serve? Because he's been elected twice, right? But one of the terms he served was not legitimate. So he deserves another legitimate term. Now, could that be worked out in court? Would the Congress go along with that? No, none of that's going to happen. But that's just my
I'm gonna go on
opinion
the
of how they
record
should
books
do it.
that he was elected 3 times and served 2 terms.
Well, yeah, either way you look at it, they owe him a term, basically. Right. And
Well,
if those charts that you put up that Tiffany did,
yeah.
yeah, they prove that he's a great president. They prove he
The
is.
thing is, I think he realizes that after this term is over, that he doesn't want to be president again. Okay, I think he knows.
That's right. That's
And
right.
he wants to be a grandpa and be able to go and relax and live his life now. He's did his job. The thing that I want, and I think most people want to see, is that all the things that happened because of the executive orders or the pins or him signing any bills or any laws, that it should all be taken away. All of it. Anything he did needs to be taken down because he wasn't president. He was not a president, period. Now, I haven't seen, just like I said, if they find out that they cheated to get Obama in office, when he was voted in, then they should start working on that too. But as of now, I worked the polls when Obama was running, and I never saw anything on the news like you did in 2020. You know what I mean? I remember the hanging chads. My mom talking about the hanging chads for forever. It was not in my state that I was in, but what I'm saying is I have seen many videos, but until I started seeing the videos that we saw in 2020 when they were covering the windows, and then people were with stacks, one person sitting at a table with a stack of ballots this high, and they're writing on them, all these different things that I saw, and I went, they're cheating. I mean, if you've ever worked the polls and you saw this, you went, what the fuck? How are these people getting away with that shit? If I was sitting where I worked the polls, either place, in either state, the 2 states, if I grabbed a stack of ballots and just started writing on, they would have arrested me. There's just no way that would have gotten. That's why I know that the people running the whole thing set it up, had to have. The ones who set it up, the ones who got the ballots delivered there, all those people had to be involved with setting it up, because when they're on the microphone announcing, well, this is for democracy or whatever kind of crap, and they're letting people sit at a table and write on ballots, you're supposed to get 1 ballot. That's all you write on. 1, not stacks. I've never ever heard of that. So whoever let that happen, those people should be in jail. That's what I'm trying to say. Not because I didn't vote for Obama, but I believe he was elected. So that's the way our system is supposed to work. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with Clinton being elected because I believe he was elected because of what I remember seeing. That's all I have. I don't have any actual papers or anything to prove that people cheated or anything. But if people did go to jail, like we're seeing now, people have been arrested and gone to jail for cheating. You know what I mean? In 2020. But the states are the ones that have to do it. Unless it goes higher up than the people that were just in that state, it goes past that, then the federal government will have to get involved. But right now, the states have to clean up their messes, because the day January 6th, right, people were there to tell Pence, don't take my ballots, don't take our electoral college votes from our state, because we saw this, that, and the other happening in our state, and we want to go back and investigate it before we give you our electoral college votes. But Pence could have said, take them back, get it cleaned up, and get your state, in order, and then bring us back your stuff. That's what he should have done. That's what his job was. But his job that day was to take all of it, because they're being assaulted. They're afraid for their lives. They're going to be killed or whatever, because Trump's sending his troops in to take over and stop the election. That's what they were trying to get people to believe, but most people didn't believe it. 80 something million people voted for him again because they didn't believe the bullshit. They knew it was fake. So people aren't stupid. We're smart enough to make decisions when we have the evidence in front of us. It's the media, because of the Smith Modernization Act that Obama signed, gives them the right to say things that really aren't truthful, and you can't do nothing about it. And we've seen it over and over again, because all you had to do is sit and click your clicker and see each channel go, and this is for the democracy, or this is for democracy, or this is for democracy. They're all saying the exact same thing because they all have the exact same script that they've been given, and that's been approved. There was I can't remember what her name is, one of these night show casters that does nightly news, and she was ready to do some stuff about the Comet ping pong stuff, and then she was told by her uppers, no, we're not doing that. Here's you another story. So she was real upset because she had tons of good juicy details about what was really going on at Comet Ping Pong, but she was denied to be able to talk about it. So that's what I'm saying. And they got away with a lot of stuff, and all of that needs to be cleaned up, because how are any of us supposed to believe that this person's legitimate when we don't know what the other states are doing? You know what I mean? Oregon only has mail-in ballots. That's all they have. That's how far it's gotten in Oregon. So, I don't know. But Oregon has the right to do that. That's their constitution. But we have to
They're trying to recall that governor.
Well,
they had news reports about it today.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, maybe they'll be able to do it, but just like in Michigan, just like in Ohio, I'm seeing more and more crap going on in Ohio now. It's like it's everywhere. We have pockets in every single state that need to be cleaned up of criminals with fraud and all this different stuff. But we have to be patient and let the states do their jobs. Report it, talk about it, and get in committees or whatever you feel like you can do in your own state. But really, if it goes outside your state, there's nothing we can do about it. I can't do anything about what Oklahoma's doing. All I can do is try to make sure my state is doing the best they can to make sure that they're arresting people and cleaning up the voter rolls and doing all that stuff. I'm thankful that I don't have a governor that agrees with sanctuary cities. So, I have at least that. So I don't know. I just feel sorry for the people that live in the states where, that they have no say because they have fraud run amok. They got criminals running everything. And I really feel bad for them, but they got a lot more work to do than my state will have to do.
We have to remember, Janet, that during World War II, there were Nazi parties in America. And then everybody knows about Hanoi Jane, that when we were in war in Vietnam, there were pro-communist people, going to those countries and protesting in the United States. And now we got IRGC. We're in a war with them. They're funding the war against Israel. And American citizens are running around speaking for the enemy. Now, there was a time in this country that if you spoke for the enemy, just get out, right?
Yeah.
And so we have to remember this isn't new, but the problem is much worse now than it's ever been, I would say. And that would just be related to the population, and it's doubled since then.
Well, also, we really do have to start speaking out in your own communities. If you see things that you think are fishy, like if you think somebody's been kidnapped, I'd hope that you would get the phone and call 911. I watched a video. Well, I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched some of it because someone had sent me a link to an interesting video. It was on YouTube, and it was a woman was in a business shopping, and another woman came running in, and she was screaming and acting all hysterical, and everybody was like looking at her, and she was saying something about she just left some house, and uh, that there was a guy there, and he was cutting somebody up or something like that, and they were all freaking out. But most of the people said, "Oh, she's a tweaker," this kind of stuff. So most people just walked off, didn't even pay attention to her. But the woman got in her car and she called 911 because it scared her really bad. She said, "I don't know if this is true or not, but I'd rather call and not be right than find out tomorrow that somebody died because I didn't make a phone call." So she did. She called, and the cops went, and they had their body cameras and stuff. Come to find out, the house that they went to, the guy had taken a woman, some woman that he thought was a snitch or whatever, an old woman, and folded her in half basically, and put her in a tote while she was still alive. And she was screaming from inside the tote, and finally the cops heard that, and she was under the house. He had put her up underneath the house, so to get her out of the house in case the cops came, whatever. And they were able to get her out of that and take her to the hospital, have the ambulance come, because when the cops saw her in that box, I can't take her out of there. I don't know if I'll do it, make it worse for her, because she couldn't move or anything. She was paralyzed in there. It was horrible, but the whole thing was horrible. But the thing is, if it hadn't been for that woman using her fear or whatever it was about her, I gotta call the police. Even though she was worried, the woman was just nuts and drugged up or drunk or whatever, but she saved that woman's life basically because she did something. And I wish more people would just use their gut and just say, I'm making this call. I'm probably an idiot, but I'm gonna do it anyways. You do it for a dog on the side of the road, or if you saw someone throw a dog out the window or a kitten. But people aren't stepping up to the plate when it's something else that could be way bigger. And I wish more people would. But this guy, I want to share. This guy was on TikTok, okay, and he used to do a lot of stuff on TikTok, make these undercover videos and stuff. But this video is saying, this guy that I follow, Eric, he's saying that TikTok has permanently banned this journalist. His name's Cam Higbee, after he exposed major election vulnerabilities in Minnesota. They're letting Muslim migrants vote with no ID through vouching. Remember, we shared some of that the other night, and we were showing how this guy could come in and wearing the right attire and have people wearing burqas and stuff and say, "I can vouch for these people." And they said, "Yes, you can vouch for up to 8 people without any driver's license or ID, or didn't even have to see their face. They were just going to hand them a ballot and let them vote." So he got taken down off of TikTok, which is funny because I went through TikTok yesterday and I think I took like 50 videos down. I just deleted them off of TikTok because they said won't be recommended. They muted it, or they even took the video off. They nobody could see it because I post stuff about politics and things like that, and they don't like that. Now, if I wanted to post a video of me running around with my ass hanging out of my shorts or rolling around on the ground in mud and going oink, oink, in a bikini or something, they think that's great. They want that kind of crap on there. But if I want to do something I think makes a difference, like what I'm doing right now with trying to expose things on this show, they hate me for it. Even TikTok. So TikTok is as bad as the rest of these people that get mad because they're not conservatives, or they don't like conservatives, or whatever. Or they don't like truth. I don't know what it is, but I just think it's ridiculous. And so I just deleted them, because if they're not going to let anyone see them anyways, why am I wasting the data on my phone to even have them on there? So I'm just taking them off. But what I'm doing is I'm downloading them, because some of them are way back when I first started, because I was on TikTok. I have over 10,000 followers on TikTok, but I was on there before I started putting shorts on YouTube and stuff, or on Rumble. So I'm going to download them and put them on the other channels. because TikTok's not going to share them. But I wanted to share this video because it's ridiculous. Because people say they hate TikTok or they love TikTok. I watch TikTok all day. Well, they're worse. I think they're one of the worst at letting really bad stuff that isn't true and not factual on there, especially if you're bashing the right people. But if you're on there with real interesting facts, like we're about to see on this video, they don't let you. They'll take you down. So I'm going to share this video because I want everyone to see it. And I'll share it in the, this is Cam Higby's video.
Hello.
Have you voted here before?
No.
No. Okay, well, go down to where it says voting, take a right, and they'll help you out again. Hello.
Hello.
Register over there.
Hello, what is your last name? Is that? And what is your first name?
Genevieve
Genevieve?
and vouch.
I'm sorry?
Vouch.
She's vouching?
I vouch.
Oh, for her? And is she Genevieve?
No.
So are you wanting to vote first? You're gonna have to make a phone call.
Yes. But can she vote if I vouch?
No, good luck. Does she live within this precinct?
Yes.
So are you wanting to vote first though?
Yes, but vouch for her.
Okay.
So she vote. So if I vouch, she vote.
Okay. Bye.
Is that right?
Yep.
Can I vote without ID?
Yes, if you're already in the system,
Okay. Okay.
then you can vote.
Ooh.
If you're already in the system.
Hold on. I just need to point this out. I walked into this polling station with a random name of a random person who is registered to vote in this precinct. I am not that person. Here I am in full niqab, and this poll worker was prepared to allow me to fraudulently vote in that person's name without verifying that I'm that person. They don't need ID from me. They don't need to prove that I actually am Genevieve. They were just going to allow me to vote. They might have had me sign an affidavit, but nobody's going to check those affidavits. And even if they did, there's no way to prove Genevieve didn't sign it and that it was rather me.
Interesting. It's just exactly what we talked about the other day with the videos that we were sharing from, I think it was Minnesota.
James O'Keefe.
Yeah, but it was in Minnesota also,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, and I think there's some other ones coming out of Alaska with the same problems. But the thing is, how are we supposed to fix the problem that we had from 2020 that's lasted all this time when they still are doing it? They're blatantly doing it. How can somebody vouch for someone when you can't even see what they look like? Or if they're the person that's in the system? She said, if you're in the system. Well, how can they be in the system if you don't even know what they look like and they're standing right in front of you and have no way to show you that that's the person? They're not giving you a fingerprint. They're not doing, there's no proof whatsoever that this person is the person that's supposed to be in the system already. See, when I'm working the polls, just like I said, we have 5 people. Each of us have, 2 of us are witnesses. We have books that have the documents that they've signed with their signature before and has their address, their addresses when they've been registered, that to prove that they're in our precinct, right? Then the person in front of her is a person that looks at the ID, okay? That gets the ID to make sure that the person's picture looks like the person that's standing there. Then they hand the ID to the next person. She looks at it and matches the book to make sure the signature is the same on the ID compared to the signature on the book. Then the next 2 people write down the name and stuff, because one book is going to go to the county clerk's office and the other one goes to the other office. I can't remember the other one.
Board of Elections.
Yeah, to the Board of Elections. Then the last person at the table is the person that sits there with the box that's locked, that when they're done voting, they're going to come and put it in that box, because they're supposed to keep it in our little precinct or district or, wherever it is in that number 17 or whatever number we're in. And that's how we keep all the votes in where they're supposed to be from the area they're supposed to be voting in. So I don't see how they're supposed to act like, what happens in an hour when the real Genevieve comes and goes, well, I didn't vote yet. What are they supposed to say? Oh, well, someone that dressed looked just like you is here. What are they going to say? You see, it's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And now that it's on camera like this, hopefully some officials above these people are going to go in and say, you guys have made us look like the laughing stock of the world or whatever. Do something. They should all be arrested.
What I saw her do was ask him his name, and she typed it in the system. And he said, can I vote without an ID? And she goes, well, as long as you're in the system. I'm like, no shit, you just put him in there. That's what I saw. Maybe I saw it wrong.
No, you didn't see it wrong. But what I'm trying to say is, if there was a real person, because he just gave a random name of someone he knew was in that precinct, but he didn't know if they'd ever voted before. It was a woman, Genevieve.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's what he did. What she looked at this register of people that come in.
Go back over there again. Now watch.
It looks to me like she types his name into the system.
Yeah, to see if he's in there already. And he says,
no, I think she was adding him to it.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
I can't see it from that side, but hold on. I'm going to go right to where he first gets up there. Okay. Let's see. Right here. Let's see if I think this is about it.
I'm sorry?
Vouch.
She's vouching?
I vouch.
Oh, for her? And is she Genevieve?
No.
So
is she Genevieve? See.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Can she vote if I vouch?
No, good luck. Does she live within this precinct?
Yes.
So are you wanting to vote first, though?
Yes, but vouch for her.
Okay.
So she vote. So if I vouch, she vote.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yep.
Can I vote without ID?
Yes, if you're already in the system.
Okay. Okay.
Then you can vote.
Ooh.
If you're already in the system.
Hold on. I just need to point this out. I walked into this polling station with a random name of a random person who is registered to vote in this precinct. I am not that person.
See?
Yeah, he said he had the name.
Yeah. So he knew then they were registered to vote. Okay. But he had no idea whether they already came to vote or anything. But they're in this precinct. And she says, so if you're in the system, so basically, if your next door neighbor's name is George whatever, and you go up there and you say, I'm George so-and-so, and they don't ask for ID or anything, and your face is covered because you're wearing a hijab, how are they going to know that I'm George? You see what I mean? There's no way that they can verify that I'm George if they can't see me or have no ID to prove who I am. See, I don't know. It's ridiculous.
Let's talk about the IDs for a minute. Mm-hmm. One of the largest scams they have in Mexico is already having IDs for people.
Yeah.
We just found out that China got our entire voting record, which means deceased people and otherwise. Right? Here's what I say that we should do. They should have a thumbprint thing on there, and the FBI should make thumbprint readers to go to every voting station and scan that thing through, because I'm telling you, if they got your fingerprint and you're an American, if it's FBI access, it is going to verify you're a real person or immediately tell you we don't have anything for this, or this thumbprint is going to a deceased person.
Okay.
Right? Whatever it was, that thumbprint running through a scanner would do it.
You see this phone?
Yeah.
How many people do you know have one of these?
I don't know many that don't.
Okay. Very few do not have it, even kids. And guess how I can open this phone? Put my thumb on the side.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So if they have a phone okay, and they say, well, I don't want to use my fingerprint to vote. Well, why not? It's proof that it's you. I could go up to your phone and grab it and put my thumb on it. And guess what? It's not going to open because it's not your thumbprint. So I think I think it's a great idea. I mentioned that earlier that, you know, retina scan, thumbprint, handprint, whatever. And I
Yeah,
think
I
what's
say
the
the
internet?
thumbprint on the vote, right?
Yeah,
You and it should be
that's
said.
your signature
If
right
you
there.
put your thumbprint on this and we run it through that machine and you're not that person, you're going in handcuffs and have big buses like the ones they take state prisoners around with, the white ones with the chains, and have about 8 of them out there and just make them sit in them while they,
I mean, because nobody else has your thumbprint.
That's right.
Unless we have some spy technology and they go and they get it and they put the fake thumbprint on, you know, like on those,
Not gonna happen.
you know, I know it won't, but what I'm saying is they could say, oh, people could steal your thumbprint. Well, you know, don't be sharing your thumbprint with people. I
So
don't know.
for
But
the
if you have
state of
it on your
Georgia,
phone already, what's the big deal of going and voting and putting your thumbprint on your ballot to prove it's yours? Then you won't have all this bullshit. You know, this is bullshit. That any person that is old enough to have common sense to know this, that, and the other is going to know this is the dumbest. This person right here, this person was taught improperly on how to let people vote. So whoever taught these people, just like I said, I'm in a whole stadium, okay, with a stadium of tables and boxes and people walking around to vote, right? But we have like 4 or 5 judges and they swore us in. They told us what we were supposed to do, what we're not supposed to do, and that we couldn't go home. We couldn't just get in our car and drive off. Okay. There's a lot of things that we had rules and we had to ask to go to the bathroom so someone could take your position, a wandering person that has the right, and the judges know who's where, blah, blah, blah. It's so easy to have a fair election. I've seen it many, many, many times over the years in 2 different states, Arkansas and Louisiana. And I can't be that much different from every other state when you have an election, except for Oregon, because they have all mail-in ballots. I don't know how. I would love to get in there and watch somebody see how they run that thing. I mean, I really would. But the thing is that the thumbprint thing is a great idea because nobody else has your thumbprint. And I don't see why anyone would complain about that, to be able to vote and make sure it works, because you got this. No one can cut unless they cut your thumb off and take it with them to vote, but I don't see that happening either. But I'm just saying there's so many things they can do in every state, okay, and make it legal and easy access for people, because then you really don't have to have ID, because every person walks in, they have their thumbprint or their fingerprint, because if they missed their thumb, let's say somebody lost their thumbs, you know, they'd have to have some other way to do it. But there's got to be ways to work around that. I mean, to me,
well, I'll say this one weird thing about this is weird, but I think I should add it. So I worked for the state of Georgia for about, I don't know, it was probably around 2 years, a little more than 2. And I was doing network administration. So the community mental health center was one of my places. I did the Harlem High School network for Columbia County Board of Education, and then you know, I did the jails, right? So sometimes we did a computer upgrade in the jails where had to be in there a while, like doing, you know, 100 computers, and I would be in there for 2 weeks. And so this guy's walking by me one day and I'm like, what the hell, man, is wrong with his hands? And all of the end of his fingers, I swear to God, they look like hamburger, right? And the jail guard goes, yeah, dude, if they've committed murders or big crimes, and once they get in here and they get fingerprinted, they rub their fingers on the cinder block walls to rub their rub their fingerprints off, and they literally rub down to the meat. And when the skin comes back, there's no fingerprint.
I know, but why would they do that? Because they don't want to be be able to.
Because now that they've given their thumbprint, when they get booked, they print their whole fingers, right?
Yeah.
They could be looking for somebody on a homicide case, and they already got fingerprints from the scene, and they're just looking. It's just unregistered fingerprints. And when those people get in jail and give those prints, it's like, oh shit, they got. Because a lot of them, they're just waiting for the prints to show up in the scanner. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense then. But yeah, I just wanted to share that. And the reason I shared it isn't so much about the cheating, because we already saw the hijab thing and the vouching for the other people, 8 people, all that kind of crap was ridiculous. It was the fact that TikTok kicked this guy off of TikTok because he was posting the truth about these people letting people vouch for another person when they have no way of proving who these people are. Just because they have a name that's in the system, it could be your neighbor's grandmother's sister. They have no way of knowing who this person actually is, especially if they're not showing their face and they don't have any form of ID or fingerprints or anything. It's so stupid. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense, and it can't be legal. This cannot be legal.
Well, I mean, if that's what their state law says,
but I don't think
federal
it is.
elections.
I really don't.
The federal government cannot take over elections because elections are by the state. But the federal government can mandate that all states follow a certain policy. And I'm telling you, if they go with a thumbprint identification on every single vote they get, as soon as you run your damn thing through, it's like, no, this fingerprint already got used, or this fingerprint's, it's not in our system. Because with all the technology, I mean, you nailed it yourself. Everybody, you open your iPad, right? There's fingerprint things for your door. These fingerprints are in the database.
If you work in like a laboratory at a college or for your
anywhere, yeah, that's right.
You have to have a thumbprint on most of those. I mean, in certain courthouses, you have to have a thumbprint or an eye scan. I mean, there's just already have so much technology like that for certain jobs. I mean,
let me tell you what in Georgia
have thumbprints.
In Georgia, to get your driver's license now, you have to give fingerprints, and they don't show up on the driver's license, but there's a scanner number on the back. And when they run that through their, it just reads the scans it, and the computer screen, it all pops up right then.
Yeah.
Right. So they have access to these background files. But I promise you, you can get an ID of a real person, and then you go get a post office passport picture done, and you put that on there, and they just put your picture on that ID. So IDs are not the answer. I promise you, IDs are not the answer. It has to be some sort of thing that they can link to you and in Georgia, I mean, in 2020, we knew the corruption, right? Man, I'm telling you, in the 2024 election, nobody did anything. We cracked down in Georgia so bad it wasn't funny. They changed all the rules, went to IDs and all that kind of stuff. And man, there was no
when I was a kid, I remember all my friends had fake IDs. They had somebody that knew how to laminate and do all this different stuff. And they had fake IDs because you just walk up to the club and you just flash it and like that, and you keep on going. Most of the time they never even looked at it unless you looked 12. They might look at it a little better, closer. But if you were wearing a short skirt and you had cleavage showing, most of the guys just didn't even really look at it. They just let you in because they want pretty girls in their bars. So it was real easy for the women. It was the guys that had the hardest time. But I didn't know a single person that couldn't get a fake ID.
That's right. Yeah.
So fake IDs are a dime a dozen. I mean, they got to be today. I mean, heck, they can even print fake $100 bills on a photocopy machine today. And people try to buy stuff with it. I mean, look at this one. I'm going to hold it up. It looks pretty legitimate, don't it? This is from a movie. This is from a movie set money. And it says on it, look at even the back looks real. But it says on there, if you read it up close, for motion pictures, blah blah blah. It's on there, but if you just flashed it at somebody, a wad of these, they would think it was real money.
Oh, you should go visit the Treasury Department in Washington. You go in there and you do a tour, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's at the end of the tour, you go to the guest shop. You can buy uncut sheets of $100 bills. They just don't put a serial number on them. It's not money till some serial number hits it. But you can buy them.
But people were able to print them out because it was a couple years ago, but some guy was on, I think it was on Facebook, and he was trying to sell 4 tires. And he said he had 4 tires and what size they were. And he said they were barely used because when he bought them for his kid's vehicle or whatever, and they made too much road noise. Because it wasn't the right kind of tire. They put they were the right size, but the kind of tire, the knobs or something, I don't know. I'm not smart when it comes to tires, but they said it made too much road noise. So they were selling them because he bought a sleeker set or something that made less noise. So he's trying to sell them. Well, he had them, and then he had a guy come and bring. He said, how much are they? He said $600 is what he was selling them for, because they were like $1,000. Really, they were very expensive. So the guy came and he gave him 6 $100 bills, and he left. Him and his son loaded them up, and they left. Well, then he went 2 days later. He had to go to Walmart and go shopping, and he had the money. And he went up and he went to pay, and they were like, "This is fake." And he goes, "Huh?" He goes, "That's not real money." But they all looked at it and said, "Yeah, the only way they knew is they had that pin. They marked it, and it didn't turn the color, like it turned a different color, which means it's not real, right?" So cops came and they arrested him for trying to spend fake money. So he had to go through the whole thing and try to find out the best they could to figure out who this guy was, because he had called him and did all this stuff. And they eventually caught the other guy for counterfeiting. That's what he got arrested for. And that was in Oklahoma. So it does happen. But he did it on his own printer at home. And it looked that real, that a person, and they do it in small amounts. Like they do it usually with 20s is usually the easiest one to use, because it's a smaller bill. But just imagine if you had a whole bunch of 5s or 10s that were fake. It's so much easier to just go to Dollar General, a couple places, buy milk and bunches of stuff with fake money all the time, because it's less likely to get caught. But when you do get caught, that is a big no-no. But what I'm saying is it's possible. People do it every day. So this kind of stuff is no big deal, to these people, making fake IDs for all these people to be able to go vote. I mean, they just get the fake social security number, and they get them, they just do all of whatever, get them all fake documents, and all these people are ready to go vote and get a loan or whatever, But a thumbprint, you can't do it. Just like you said, it doesn't matter. They can have this stack that high of documents, but a thumbprint will prove them all illegitimate.
So I had this one kid that I was part of him getting busted twice, right? Mm-hmm. So the first time he gets busted, he's gotten $20 million doing bank transfers, right? This guy's dad ran one of the largest computer networks in this area. So his whole life. So he's watching his dad, right? He figured out how to get in banks and transfer money and do all this. So we bust him. And his dad was actually a friend of mine. And we kind of worked out something like, all right, don't do it again. So he does it again. And this time we catch him with 30 million. So we told him, like, dude, you're going to go to jail for 40 years. And we'll tell you what, if you'll work in our bank fraud department and help us find people that do what you do, since you know how to do it, you ought to be able to find them, right? Man, this kid gets this job. He ain't even 18 yet. I'm telling you, he stole $50 million before his 18th birthday. So he gets in there, and his dad's all chilling. Like, oh, he's doing good. He's got this good job. And what does he do while he's in there? He starts stealing more money. Because now he's a crooked FBI cop, and it's like, he can hide his own evidence, right? And he ended up going to jail for 40 years. But the point of telling that story is, once you know how to do it, You know, and here's what I say to the stupid. I mean, if I was going to go to the Treasury Department, and I made a joke about this to the girl, the park ranger, you know, they're park rangers that do the tours. And
Yeah.
she's doing the sheets. I said, yeah, well, I said, I don't know if I want any of those or not. I might want 5,000 of them. I said, can you tell me where to buy one of them serial number printers there? And I did it in a real country voice. She cracked up and started laughing. Says, don't say that too loud. I was like, yeah, well, y'all are the ones selling $10 billion worth of $100 bills. And you just told us they're no good until you put a serial number. I'm like, well, these are real $100 bills, okay? So you could actually just print that number, and that pin's not going to do the wrong
That's what I'm
thing.
saying. That's a
Yeah, they
legitimate.
say bring them back, and we'll
Because
put
of
numbers on them for
it's
you.
the kind of
Yeah.
paper it is and all that stuff. It's not very smart to do that. I mean, it really isn't. But you know,
Crime is a trip, okay?
yeah.
Every
it's
time I ever, like when I was working in the jail and they'd have those little trustees working in the cafeteria and mopping everywhere and shit, you know, and I was big in AA and drug addiction and all, and I would talk to them and get them to tell me their story. And after they told me their story, I usually would look at them and go, you know, if you used all that talent for an actual real job, you'd be living in, and then I'd name some ritzy neighborhood and be like,
have a nice
why do
car.
you do all that with crime? You're smart as hell. You can do a lot of shit, man. What's up with the
But
crime?
that's not as exciting.
I don't know what it is. I know jail sucks, and all of them were in jail when I met them.
No.
Okay.
Some
And
people can't help it.
I mean, they'll be in there and they get cigarettes and they break the cigarettes up and they get Dixie sugar packs and they roll these tiny little pin cigarettes, hand roll them out of the Dixie sugar packs, right? Well, you got to have a way to light it, right? So they get like their little things come in with AA batteries, and they'll take paper clips and fold the paper clips and hold it on either end, and it'll burn the shit out of your fingers, but that's what they light their cigarettes with. Okay, so I'm telling you, these guys know engineering, they know chemistry, they can get dudes shove up condoms with marijuana, cocaine, and all kind of stuff and get arrested on purpose, come in there, pull that stuff out of their ass, cut the condom open, and they sell that shit. One of my friends, man, a friend, somebody I work with, we did security at nightclubs together and stuff sometimes. This guy was getting $800 for a carton of Cool cigarettes. And one day they came in and they just did a random search. And he had like 12 of them in his locker, right? Because you're not supposed to bring anything like that in. His dad was a cop.
Oh, so how did he sneak them into the prison?
He would just bring them in his like workout bag, clothes bag or whatever, and stick them in his locker, and then he would dole them out. But $800 for a carton of cigarettes, like, yeah, $20 across the river in Carolina is $20 for a carton, and you go into jail and you get $800 for it. But his dad was a very popular cop around here when I was a young kid. He got into it later in life, but he went down hard.
In another country like Norway or whatever, you'll pay almost $20 for a pack of cigarettes, of Marlboros.
Yeah.
Because they have such a high tariff on them because they're American.
Well, after they broke those cartons up into those little Dixie sugar pack, I mean, you could smell the tobacco, but you smell the paper of the sugar pack burning almost as much. Like,
Yeah.
But that's how bad they wanted a cigarette. But oh my God, the contraband business in there is through the chain.
They can't carry cash on them in prison.
Oh shit! Oh no, there's money in jail. They got some people that come in there, man, and it's like you're gonna be everybody in here's girlfriend if your wife doesn't put $80 a week in your thing, right? So the wife is putting the money in there thinking it's for commissary, but they can access cash. So you know they can dole it out. They got like, oh man, jail.
Oh, and they can get married in there too because Chris
Yeah,
Rock got married.
Yeah, the whole jail trip is crazy.
After he murdered his whole family, and now he's got a brand new wife in prison on our tax laws.
Yeah, I had another friend I went to high school. He was a burglary cop, right? He's in burglary and CID and Central Investigations. Now he's burglary, right? They brought a bunch of new computers in. You know, we're replacing all the computers. And he didn't say anything to me. He didn't say anything to anybody. He takes like 10 of the old computers and puts them in his truck and goes home. And he sold them. Man, they fried him so bad for that shit. He's like, he asked me what we were doing with them. I said, oh, we just store them in an old truck. Man, this is state-owned computers, okay? And every computer has a fingerprint. When you get on the internet and type that shit in, it sends that number. Well, those are pre-programmed to go straight to law enforcement, secure internet connections. And that thing pops up and security's like, uh-oh, this is in the wrong place, coming out of the wrong IP address, wrong house, blah, blah, blah. And so you have to put that serial number in, and this is a dead unit. And we do just store them in trucks, but you can't even steal, like if a motherboard needs a CMOS chip or a video card burns or something like that in a school system, you can't even go to one of those and scarf parts off of it to save the county money. I mean, I kind of wanted to bring this up when we were talking about the money business, because that guy I played with who had done work for building aircraft for McDonnell Douglas, and we were just having the most fun talking, and we got to the part about fraud, and he mentioned, he's like, well, when we were building that aircraft, there was a piece of pipe just like one you could go buy at Home Depot, right? And it had to have a hole drilled in a specific part so they could reach up in a wing and grab a pin and move it, right? Well, they changed the design and the hole needed to be 2 inches different. They paid $15 million for someone to drill that hole in that pipe. One you could buy at Home Depot now, $18 max, one hole. They paid $15 million for them to make a new one to send back when they changed the wing design. And I've seen in the VA system, when I was working with the OIG, we did some investigations where the hospital approves money to do ward changes. Like, okay, we're going to take this open area and make 4 doctor's offices. And we're going to move this wall over here 8 feet and give access to the elevators and blah, blah, blah. And they get 18 or 20 million dollars. Well, it turns out that the contractor's always the brother-in-law of their director, or, you know, friends with the chief of staff or whatever. And it's all this inside shit. And then, like, right after they get done and they announce they're opening this new ward and everything, they'll come back in and put it all back the way it was for another 30 million. We caught them doing that a bunch of times. So, you know, is with them looking at the fraud, responsibility and accountability inside the military industrial complex, because that is not government. That's private business. Okay. And I promise you, if you're getting $30 million for an $18 pipe in 5 minutes of work, right? I don't care what you're paying the dude doing the work. I don't care shipping costs, whatever you want to add to that. You're taking a $20 pipe and getting $15 million for it. I promise you that 15 million sees a lot of hands, right? He had his stories. I've had what I've seen. And you know, that's it. When you're in that, you literally get numb to it. First you complain and you gripe, and then you get a new office down in the basement with no windows. And if you keep griping, then they do some other cruel shit to you. So there's this essence of don't run your mouth and all that.
I'd go somewhere else and get a different job.
Well, yeah, no, I never put up with it. I never did. I never put up with it. I sure didn't. Not especially my dad being who he was. Christ's sakes, all I had to do was call him and he could directly call the president. You know, it's like he was his doctor. Oh, you're not going to believe what Chris found today, right? Things happen fast then. When my dad died, I had to learn all new people to talk to, and Jesus Christ, it was hell.
Well, this next thing I wanted to share, I didn't know how many people might have heard of it already. Bethany O'Leary on X shared this. It says, Fauci's lawyers just launched a legal defense fund. They're saying he needs it because more states and federal officials are investigating his role in the COVID response. Remember when I shared, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, that one doctor saying that they just had all this paperwork they just sent to the 50 states to their surgeon generals or whatever, so that they could try to prosecute at the state level for what's gone on with the whole COVID fraud. So hopefully we'll see what happens. But it says this is after Biden pardoned him on the way out of office, and after his own longtime advisor, David Morans, pled guilty this week to hiding emails. If everything he did was above board, he wouldn't even need a defense fund, would he? So I thought.
Yeah, no, the defense fund was in response to what Dave Morenz did. And clearing up the David Morenz thing, he admitted guilt to one of 5 things listed in his indictment. That screams of plea deal. That screams of he's going to be running his mouth. And the minute this prick found out that Morenz was going to sing, he needs all the lawyers he can get.
Yeah,
which I don't, nothing that they do to Tony Fauci, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's 85. He's going to die. God's waiting up there. He's waiting, St. Peter's at the gate with the book, right? He said, well, sit over there with Adolf Hitler and Joseph Stalin. You're in timeout. The people that he has to sit next to in that moment are the worst people that ever lived on this planet, right? And he's too old for worldly recompense. What are you going to give him? 2 years? He will be dead at the end of 2 years, right? What I want them to do is I know the truth, right? But I know all the stuff that's still classified and all the stuff that was censored and all the stuff Fauci has refused. All I care about when it comes to anything COVID and anything mRNA vaccine is that people can get relief for what went wrong in their life over it, right? And that needs to be done. Whatever is going to happen to Tony Fauci means nothing to me. They need to bring him in a table and say, look, like Rand Paul is so mad at him. It's like, why are you so mad at him that you're letting people die from the side effects of all this shit we did to them? We did this on purpose. We made this virus. We made the vaccine, and then we let the virus go, and millions of people died. And you're mad at Tony Fauci? Man, go in the bathroom and look in the mirror, Rand. You voted for that shit, that mandate. You voted for it. I don't give a shit, man. If you were uninformed or anything else, you're a doctor, right? And I love Rand. I talk to him when I go to DC.
Many doctors, millions of doctors told their patients to get the shot. I was just lucky to have a doctor that said, I don't think you should get it, because he was an allergy doctor. And I said, well, why? And he said, because we don't know what's in it.
Well.
So I had an honest, I was lucky I had an honest doctor at that time in my life, and I didn't get it, so, and he also told me to beware of shedding, that.
Well, I just, there's, JFK Jr. just announced that thing. Didn't you play that video during this? Yeah, right. Where there's a place now where if you have a natural old remedy that works, they want you to list it there and they can start testing. Oh my God, I prayed for that, argued, raised hell at them and everything. And I recently sent that idea to PIAB, and I guess it made it over there to RFK. He's on it.
Give that information to Dawn for her stuff.
Oh yeah, that's who I was trying to do it for.
Yeah. Well, so I can't wait to find out about it. But this other article that I got, I thought was pretty good. It says, Assistant Attorney General Harmy Dillon just lit the fuse under every single state. In a blistering formal letter to all 50 states, she declared, knowingly letting non-citizens vote in federal elections is a federal crime. Keeping them on the voter rolls is a federal crime. So it's a whole list of stuff, but I'm going to play the video for you. So this is pretty good. Here we go.
We're not really afforded any kind of courtesy or grace when it comes to some parties commenting on this. There's been a lot of accusations of, oh, this is weaponization, blah, blah, blah. But when you look at the history, and we can show numbers and figures, the Department of Justice has done this for decades. It's a very good thing, and it's sunlight. Sunlight is good for our process. And so I do hope that's the reason. And we're there to make sure that all parties' votes are counted correctly. And that citizens accept the outcome. And look, over the years, in recent years, we've had Hillary Clinton raise questions about the accuracy of her election. We've had Stacey Abrams question the outcome of her election. Some people on both sides have refused to accept the outcome of elections. And so this is really to make sure voters have higher confidence. And I think that's really important for our constitutional republic. We're not really
See, so basically, they're trying to make sure, trying to get people to understand that it's not just for conservatives or just for liberals. It's for everybody in the United States of America to have confidence in voting. And if we don't have rules and people following the rules, then how are we supposed to know that the people that we have running everything are the people that we put there to run it? See? And to me, it helps everyone. So I don't understand why anyone would complain that we're trying to fix the problems. You see what I mean? So I don't know. I just wish there was more people on the left that were standing up, like, you know, during these big meetings and stuff and hearings, to have some of the people that are on the opposite side of the aisle stand up and say, we want to stop the fraud. We want to stop the leaks, because I have people that are barely able to buy groceries. You see what I mean? Don't they have people under them that are having trouble paying their bills and stuff, when and standing up for them and telling them, I want to fix this so that my people have faith in the system again, faith to go back to their doctors, faith to that when they go vote for someone, for their sheriff or their county clerk, that they're really the person that was voted in, that kind of stuff. I don't see why it's either you're a Trump supporter or you just hate anyone that's conservative. That's why only conservatives are bitching about the outcome of the elections, which isn't true. There are people that are liberals that want fair and free elections also, and want it to be legitimate. And that, where are they though? Where are all these people that in office standing up and saying, hey, you know, we need to fix this, and why isn't this passing? So I don't understand when you have the Save America Act out on the table, and you can't even get every single person that's in the Senate to vote for it, vote yes, because aren't they American citizens themselves?
Well, let's compartmentalize this. Let me be the male. Let me be the male character in this conversation.
Oh, look at this.
I love Carmeet Dillon, by the way, right?
Bruce, you didn't have to do that. I really appreciate it, but it's my first super chat again, I guess. Gifted 5 for me for membership. Amazing. So it's a membership thing. So I really appreciate you, Bruce, for doing that. I have to get all that stuff reset up again. I'll have to go read it and figure out how to do it. I mean, I forgot how to, I barely got monetized when they took it away from me. So I really don't know how it works. I was just trying to figure it out then. But thank you very much, Bruce. I really appreciate it.
Anyway, so compartmentalized, the American people want voting security. The Senate does not want voting security. That's all you can say. As a group of people, they didn't want to do this. I'm pretty sure the thumbprint idea is in the SAVE Act, right? It's the truth when it comes out is, oh my God, you mean this many people been voting in every election that weren't legitimate? There are millions of migrants here. Not 1 million, not 2 million. They're estimating 20 to 30 million of them, right?
Yeah.
If they could all of a sudden, here's the proof, but there's more to that than this. I'll give you 2 examples of behind the scenes politics. Let's start with Lindsey Graham's sister. Okay, this is not a monarchy and family members don't take over seats. When she was interviewed, she said, I don't know anything about national security. Well, I could bet you money the reason that Trump endorsed her today, he wants a big dummy in there. After Lindsay died, and he wasn't even cold yet, right?
Yeah.
And people were already trashing him about his wars in Ukraine and all this other shit. You know, he's a real live military industrial complex guy. We just got through that, right? And then so you got Trump. He's like, yeah, I don't want her in there. But there's more to that to me. Why don't state senators, represent their states in the federal government and stop getting involved in international conflicts and international politics? That's not your job. Their job is, okay, so Nissan comes and puts a factory in Tennessee. And the state senator's job is to make sure that the international transactions are fair to his state. He's supposed to monitor the things at the federal level that serve his state, right? The interstate bridge goes. How many interstate bridges we need? Oh my God, pretty much every one you go over, they're unsafe. And they're rusted and all this other shit because they're 80 years old. They're supposed to get the federal money to get those things done and then make sure there's no shenanigans between the state people who get the money and family members and shit like that. You think there's a fair contract system, but we don't have one. So that's the same kind of thing that needs to be looked at. Like the stuff with the border and immigration law. They're benefiting from those things. There's not an American, I've not met one American who just totally hates the shit out of every immigrant. We don't. We hate the ones that riot in the street and carry other people's flags and stab our loved ones. Those are the ones we don't like. And if they had the immigration system working, then they wouldn't. When you're going to go after a criminal, right? You want somebody that doesn't carry a gun or a knife or have gang tattoos all over them. You're going to get the husband and wife who have been migrating to work in the farms and all that, and they got 3 kids, and they open the border. They're like, good, I've been ready to go to America. I can't stand this shit. And they come, and now they're stuck here. They've been doing all this stuff, right? Those people should be able to walk up to the border and say, here's who I work for. Might even be some of our most loved senators. I hate to say it, but, you know, John Kennedy Farms and Orrin Hatch Farms and all these other people, they're using them, right?
Yeah,
so
why can't they just do it in their own state, in their own town, instead of having to go to the border to do it?
Well, the border and customs is responsible for the border.
I know, but what I'm saying is, if you live in Dallas, Texas, and you've had a small business with your wife that you married, or that you've been with, your common law wife or whatever, because you're not legal. Okay, you've been here for 20 years, you're not legal, but your spouse and you have kids together that are born in this country. You've been working for your wife in this business, paying taxes, you're buying a house, you got a car, blah, 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 blah. And why can't that person who's just got that letter, just like we talked about earlier, that says they owe $500,000 in fines, or they can leave, whatever, why can't he take his fines and go to the courthouse or whatever and say, hey, I want to apply for my citizenship, so what do I need to do? Why can't they just do it that way instead of having to go to another state or whatever else to do it?
I'm gonna say that's the same reason that all these doctors who did everything COVID, I was able to get to all the information that said don't do this no matter what. They're saying, well, there was no information. It's like, that's not true. The information was there. Now, when it comes to this migrant issue,
Yeah.
If you've had a child with an American woman, your name should be on the birth certificate.
Yeah.
If you've been working and you've been working on a state ID that your employer got you through an H-1B, right? Then you need to go down to naturalization and take the test. You got to be able to say the Pledge of Allegiance by memory, right? There's just a few things you have to do. You have to be able to pass an English
I
test,
respect
right?
that, but if he's been here for 20 years, I
No,
don't
I'm
see why
saying
he would have any problems.
no, it's not the problem. He didn't finish the steps. Maybe he didn't sign the birth certificate because he was afraid they'd track him. Maybe he was getting paid under the table as a benefit to his boss. But if they do everything the right way, sign this, okay, now you've had a child with this woman, that's pretty much grounds
Now
for
that they're
legal
getting
marriage.
fined for $500,000, okay, something like that, to me, that's incentive for them to say, well, I don't want to lose everything I've put all this work into and get kicked out of the country when I want to stay here with my wife and my kids. I'm going to go and I'll do whatever I have to get my citizenship and pay the fine or work towards paying the fine or get it taken off once I get my citizenship. That type of stuff.
I wish we had live Grok up here so we could click on Grok and say, what is the actual cost of an illegal immigrant here? And this couple that we're talking about right now, okay, he's here illegally. All right, put in there he's not paying taxes. Put in there this child he had with this woman is going to school and getting Head Start and all this other stuff. She's getting benefits for being married from the state and food stamps and everything else.
Well,
It's probably close to $900 a day.
Yeah, but that's not what I was saying. The situation I was talking about is a woman who owns her own business. Let's say it's a little gas station or a little mom and pop grocery store, not real big. It's in a small town, and she met this guy. They fell in love, and they moved in together. They've been basically common law married because they've been together for so long, but they have 3 kids. They're all going to school, but she owns a business. She's paying taxes, and he runs a business with her. And he just never put in the paperwork, but he can speak English, he can drive, he can do all these things, even though he hasn't applied to become a citizen. Okay, so if he gets a letter in the mail that says he owes $500,000 or whatever, I'm just guesstimating from what we watched earlier, why can't he just say, well, I don't want to lose what I have. I don't want to go to Mexico or back to Guatemala or wherever he came from, right? I don't want to go back. I want to be here with my family. And then he goes, takes whatever he has to do, a test or whatever, to apply for citizenship and do whatever steps he has to do so that he can have that fine removed and get to stay because he wants to do the right thing. See what I mean? So I'm just
totally
saying,
get
things
it.
like that. I think that would work out great. But the thing is, the whole thumbprint, then he can get his thumbprint and then he can vote. You see what I mean? So I think the whole thing would work out. But let me get to this next thing I want to bring up really quick. It's for the Act Blue, because I think you've heard a little bit about that. It says Act Blue co-founder Matt DeBarrelgulls, I can't pronounce his last name, was panicked and pled the Fifth in a closed-door deposition with the White House committee investigators, is what Fox News is saying. So basically, he pulled a Fauci. He doesn't want to admit any of the stuff that they are asking him on this. But I want to play this for you in case you hadn't seen it yet.
Your board chairman said Act Blue accepted up to 38 million contributions in 2024 that had the signs of foreign origin. How much fraud is too much fraud?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
How many foreign contributions did Act Blue accept?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
How much money did Act Blue accept from Russia?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Why did your entire legal team quit? Your in-house legal team?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Did your legal team quit because of reduced fraud standards?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Understand. And we won't keep you here all day, but let me just do one more. Did you weaken your fraud standards to help Democrats?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Mr. Chairman, I appreciate the good work you and your committee are doing. Your board.
This is the sad truth about this is you have one side that asks legitimate questions that would be asked in court, basically. If you were working for a bank or if you work for this corporation or whatever else and you were handling the books, right? But if you were in that position and you said that you pled the fifth, how long do you think you'd have that job? You wouldn't have very long, would you? That's what's stunning to me is the fact that it's split down the middle. Why would any Democrat not stand up and say, well, I want to save my people money. I want my people to be able to afford to buy homes, send their kids to school, have a decent car that runs to go to work, all these different things. Why aren't they saying that about, well, I want to stop the fraud because I want to help my people, my people that put me in office. I don't see any of them saying any of those things. They sit there and they won't even ask them a question. You know, they just tell a story or whatever. They don't even ask them a question about what color shoes you wearing today. They don't ask them nothing. And if they do ask them, they ask them something that it has nothing to do with what they're even there for. But they don't want to ask them anything because then when they have to say they have to plead the fifth, it makes them look bad. So they just don't ask them any questions. They just tell a story or pull out something out of their ass, you know. To me, I don't understand that because you should be for the people, not one side or the other. I'm not for one side or the other. I'm conservative. I want to see if you are in office and you break the law, whatever law it is, I think you should be arrested. Just like that guy down the street that doesn't work for the government would get arrested if he did the exact same thing. If he was drinking under the influence or if he was taking drugs and trying to run a backhoe or any of these things, any job would be held accountable by doing some of the things that these people are getting away with and trying to put the money back in the bank to pay the bills because we're in debt. Our country's in debt. Don't they care about that? Our children are being born today already in debt, and they haven't even spent one penny yet on their own. So I don't get it. I don't understand why half the country doesn't want to fix the problem. They just want to keep piling it up higher and higher until we have to jump off the edge because there's no place else to go.
Okay, so do you remember me telling you that the day of the cancer hearing in June? It's like it was a couple days before this because I watched this whole hearing and it got worse than what he did. But I'm there. We have the hearing. I'm watching the Democrats talking. I'm listening to the Democrat witnesses. You know, the head committee and the chairman get to pick witnesses, and then the defense gets to pick witnesses or the minority.
Yeah.
All right. So I sat through that whole thing. Well, when it was over, I walked right over and stood with Ron Johnson, and he was asking this woman who had given an ass a false testimony. And he's like, now that you've seen, because our side is putting up, and when I say our side, I'm saying the side trying to get the truth out. We're actually putting up data from Johns Hopkins and Bethesda and national this and national that and pictures of things and showing the cancer rates and everything and relating it to when the vaccine rollouts came. Mm-hmm. At the end of that, when Ron Johnson asked her about why she wasn't more open and honest, and she said, I've never seen any of this data. She was a doctor, right? the head of the Oncologists of America, the entire union of oncologists. The other Democrat witness was a cancer survivor and the head of the United States Cancer Survivors Group.
Yeah.
Right? She didn't know enough about medicine to, check somebody's pulse, right? It was pretty sad. So now 2 days ago, I got into a huge fuss with Elon because he came out and said, we're funding mRNAs for cancer treatments. I'm like, go fuck yourself. You should hang right next to Fauci and Gates, right? So I get in this argument with Grok in our stream so he can understand what it is we're up against. And when I came to the point that I wanted to use that hearing, I asked Grok, well, you know what Grok said? I guess it chose innocent till proven guilty. So all it gave was the evidence that the people that said he was innocent, right? I'm like, wait a second. You didn't hear that conversation between me and that witness and Ron Johnson, right? Because she admitted that she didn't know and she was stunned. They didn't do that. What they said was, well, these two people testified and they said there was no link between cancer and the vaccine. I'm like, okay, a cancer survivor gave that advice and a woman who had never seen the truth gave that advice. And it was just like you said, the minority of the panel, the dais, all they did was talk about how great everybody was and, oh, you save lives and this and that. And they're just trying to railroad you. They didn't say anything that the people who had the evidence avoided it. I'm like, oh, I cussed Grok out. I'm like, yeah, you're stupid. You just proved that I'm smarter than you. And you're supposed to be the smartest thing on the planet. So go fuck yourself. I mean, I was mad. I was not a little bit mad. I had Grok printing out exactly what was going wrong in the enzyme trees and all this. And every single sentence ended with, there's not enough data on this. Well, the very first thing I said in the Elon chain was, don't make another one until you figure out what went wrong with the last one. Why the hell are you going to let all these people? I said, well, they all died, but let's try this one. Oh, no. Get the data and the research from the injured people so we can do this. That Code It page that you showed this video, that's a step in that process.
Yeah,
because we have to get people affected where they can be analyzed and treated.
Who is going to stand in line to get the next one after what's come out already on this one?
There are people that hate Donald Trump so bad, and they hate MAGA so bad that they'll go take one just to be rebellious, and they don't understand the risk they're taking.
Well, any person that wants to do that, then it's on them. I mean,
well, of course, yeah, you can do it. Yeah, do it. That's what I tell them. Go ahead, man, do it.
Well, I don't want them to do it because I don't want to see anybody get sick and die. But the thing is, just like them trying to force me to do it against my will, or even forcing people against their will to do it while they're unconscious, about to have surgery, it's the same thing. It's forcing something on someone. That's just like saying that patient was unconscious and we raped them, because they did.
Yeah, let's go back to what I started this with. When Fauci gets up there to the pearly gates and Peter is going to tell him, go right over there and sit with Stalin and, Chairman Mao. Yeah, Chairman Mao, who killed all the people at Tiananmen Square.
Jim Jones.
Yeah, he's going to, we have a special place for people like you. Come over here and meet your new roommates,
Yeah,
because that's the price will be at that moment. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen at the end, I'm pretty sure. But here is something I wanted to share, because we shared last week when we did our thing with James O'Keefe, okay, which I thought was hilarious. The fact that they just let him go in there and vouch for 8 people. They said, oh, you can vouch up to 8 people, blah, blah, blah. Now, this is in Alaska. This isn't in Minnesota. So I want to share this one because it's a new video by him. But I just think it's almost like it's made for TV. You know what I mean? It's not even real. That's how ridiculous it is. Here we go.
And Brian Murkowski.
If you want, we can look you up first, or?
Yeah, I just want to see. No, I left the ID at home. Can I give you a name?
Yeah, we'll trade.
Okay, sorry about that. The last name is Murkowski.
And what is your first name?
The name is Brian.
Do you know how to spell Brian?
Brian. Is the name on the list?
You are.
Okay, perfect. So this is the right place.
Yes, state ID.
Oh, okay.
Military ID.
I think I left that at home.
Oh,
Can
maybe I should be like TSA, a real ID, please.
Would it be possible to vote without it today?
Absolutely possible.
Oh, good.
You have a mugshot.
Oh, I think I left that at home. Blood?
DNA.
I got blood here.
You got blood, you want to leave your blood?
Can you check to see if we're in the right place?
I can do that for you.
Oh, hello.
But you don't have, any IDs?
I think I left it at home. Would it still be possible to vote today?
Yeah, yes, you can vote if you'd like to. Do you want to do a question ballot?
I mean, all I got to do is do the question ballot, then I can vote.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's so convenient.
It's shocking that the people inside this polling location here in Alaska did not question me at all, considering the last name Murkowski is very, very unusual last name, and that's their current senator. But I went in there and kept saying I didn't have my ID. The woman said, you can vote today. All you got to do is fill this document out.
So we just fill out the question ballot, and then Brian Murkowski can vote today.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Scary. And we think, and everybody says everything's going to be fine, but it can't be fine if people are voting that have no right to vote. It doesn't matter what state it's in. If it's in Alaska, it still affects the rest of us, especially if you're voting for anyone in the federal part of the jobs. You see what I mean? So if you guys want to have a bunch of ding-dongs like that voting for your mayor, right, of your city, like they did in New York, it's nobody's business but that state. But when you're having an election where your vote is going to affect me in my state, then I don't think that kind of shit should fly. You see what I mean? That's why I get upset. It's not, it affects all of us. Where our money's going, who's sending money to what dick over there in that other state, or in the other countries or whatever. And I just think this bullshit. I want to see some of these people finally punished at the state level. Also, the states have got to. I don't know what they're going to do. It's utter chaos. But those women, okay, that are working at that elementary school, it looks like somebody told them what's allowed and what isn't. They have to have documents to look at or something, because that's what I would be doing if I was in there and heard this going on. I would say, well, can I see some documentation to show me that someone can vote without having any ID or anything? I'd like to see it for this state. I'd like to see that. So I don't know. I just think it's pathetic, and I'm really proud that O'Keefe is still going at it. He's still fighting the good fight, trying to prove that we don't have any real journalists that are actually on the news telling people whatever bullshit they're told to. You know what I mean? Propaganda. That's all that is. But I think that's awesome. I'm really proud of him still doing that, even though his own people on his board, when he had this company doing so well, took him off, took it away from him. So, because they were all paid off, I guess. I don't know. I just think it's disgusting. But did you see that whole thing in Alaska?
No, I did not see. Well, it came across my screen. I didn't watch it.
It's just, I can't help myself but watch it. I'm like, I can't believe I'm still shocked by it. I should be just going, oh, well, dumbasses. And that's it. Most people would do that. But I can't. After everything that's happened, and people are still letting that kind of shit happen, right there in their town, and they're not doing nothing. Well, somebody's doing something, but O'Keefe is doing something. But let's see what they do in the state. So I don't know. It's really
Wait
sad.
till Eco Health Alliance, all right? Like that's the Pandora's box. So the indictment against Marin's, and I've read the indictment.
Yeah.
It has co-conspirator one, and then it has a company conspirator. All right, company conspirator. I happen to know myself. I don't know. They don't list it in there, but that's Eco Health Alliance.
Yeah.
And co-conspirator one, the only other two names in the indictment at the very end of it in the summary are David Marin's and Anthony Fauci, but it doesn't say that he's co-conspirator one. It just links them together. But the Pandora's box is Eco Health Alliance because every single one of the USAID grants went through them. Okay. Now I found links to Department of Energy. Why would the Department of Energy need to have their name on anything about genetic engineering? Why? Right. And then I keep digging in there and I find Mark Zuckerberg's Chinese wife in there. I'm like, oh my God, what the hell? Right? Eco Health Alliance. Do you know who the chief of staff of the White House is? Yes, you do.
Who?
His chief of staff.
No, I don't.
She was a lobbyist for Eco Health Alliance.
Oh, I didn't know.
Swear to God, yeah, she was a lobbyist for them.
So why does he still have her?
I talked to the people that I work with about that issue. They're like, yeah, she wasn't involved.
Is she the white-haired lady that's been making some really good decisions?
Susie Wiles.
Yeah, isn't?
Oh, yeah, this is her. All right, so they said we looked into that after you told us, Chris, but she wasn't related to any of the companies that got it. I'm like, are you shitting me? Right. So don't you remember we talked about Mark Zuckerberg's wife?
Yeah.
Went to him and then he sends out a private thing to everybody that works for Meta. And he's like, whatever you do, don't take that vaccine. And then the FBI comes and says, you got to censor anyone who says that. Right now, his wife was in the Department of Energy contracts that went where the grants came from, the dirty grants Fauci was given. They go into DOE. She's in there. And then Eco Health Alliance gets this money for vaccine and genetic engineering, genetic modification. And then that money goes from there to Wuhan. Now, I'm telling you, that is the Pandora's box. I'm giving you like one tiny little thing that we know everything about. There's just one tentacle on this multi-headed beast.
Yeah.
And when they get done with all that USAID money, the names of the people who were tied to that, who bought in. Now, the one thing I want to say about that, I didn't ask to be born, right? But by the time I'm 16, I'm already in the New England Journal of Medicine because I love my dad and I hung out with him and he let me be in some projects, right? And I've done this my whole life, brain surgery, cancer, all kind of shit I've been involved in, including infectious disease research, right? Now, all those people in Congress didn't have that. So the man making the most money of any federal employee in this entire country, you're thinking if you're Congress and he's the guy. He comes in and starts lying to you about not telling the truth. They didn't have anything to go on, so they got duped into it. I think one of the things that we really need to get all this out in the open is for all of us to take that sort of forgiving attitude that I have and look at it for what it really is and say, okay, we know Fauci did it. He's too old to prosecute and go to jail, right? But we got to right all these wrongs. All the money that came from COVID that went to USAID and BlackRock or these private people, that money needs to go back in against our national debt. the key thing we need to do in today's world is to remove some of our national debt. This has nothing to do with gross product, none of that. It's the interest on the money that United States of America owes is 45% of the gross domestic product.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just, we can't survive that. We have to get that interest. Think about it like a 28% interest credit card, right? That'll kill you. We're talking about our country paying 45%. If you pay all your bills on time, do blah, 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 you're paying 6% interest on your credit card, but the money in the bank back in that card, you're paying 6% while they're making 3% to hold your money. So you're really paying 9% at the very best that you can pay. It's the balance is not there. But when you get up into a 29, 28% credit card, that destroys homes. It takes food off tables and all this other stuff. And when you think about everything the United States makes, from all the effort everyone makes all together, that almost half that money pays interest. And so all of this stolen money and all this other stuff, whether they do it with sanctions, but Scott Bessent is doing an incredible job. He is ruthless, man. And, he'll get the money back, but that's what needs to happen. And it needs to take the debt down. And then our gross domestic product can start doing more for us as people.
Yeah.
I don't like the money situation, but I don't invest none of that shit. I don't care. I never did, but it's very corrupt.
Yeah, it's corrupt, but we have to stop the leaks before we can start filling up the pot again. See what I mean?
Right.
Because it's just going to be draining out like it's been for forever. So that right there was an act, thank God for Elon to help out with that, to get that whole thing started with the
Doji.
Yeah, so, but I just want to, this is the last thing I wanted to talk about, but I wanted to go out with this basically, because I was going through this and I don't understand a lot of it because it's very, a lot, when you start getting deep into a lot of technical things and stuff, and laws and all that stuff, I have a hard time. I have to read it, 50 times before I understand some of it. You know what I mean? But at least I'm honest about it. It says a top Fauci advisor's plea deal provides possible roadmap for further conspiracy prosecutions. So a plea agreement with Dr. Anthony Fauci's former senior advisor details a scheme to evade public records laws, suggesting potential legal jeopardy for the others involved, which is what, just like I said, I think it was almost 2 years ago when I was saying that we have to get the little guys, get them in there, get the information from them, the facts from them, and then any evidence that we can collect from them. And if they squeal, and that we get other information that goes above their head, then we go to the next level. And we offer them a smaller, time in jail or whatever we can to get what we have to work our way up to the top. That's how it works. Everything I've ever seen on any movie, watching trials, all kinds of stuff, basically that's what it falls down to. But I want to play this real quick, this video for you. It's not very long. Give me a second.
Fortunately, our election in November is really not going to be about Republicans versus conservatives, Republicans versus Democrats, or liberals versus conservatives. This election is going to be about those who love America versus those who seek the destruction of America. Because when the Democrats are running people who believe the American flag is only good to wipe their hands on, when they're running people who volunteered with Hamas and Al-Qaeda as their candidates, we have to say these people aren't coming to build America, they're coming to destroy it. That's what we have to get the word out to every voter about in November.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with what he just said. And that's the scary truth. Just like I said, it shouldn't have anything to do with whether you have an R by your name or an L by your name. It should be this. pledge allegiance to the United States of America.
I couldn't agree more.
You know what I mean? And I've always thought that way. I mean, I always felt like I don't understand what all the bickering is. We all should want the same goal, and we just have different points of view on how to get to it. But I'm realizing that I was wrong about that, because not everybody has the same goal. And when I brought up that whole thing in the space about, I said I was looking and reading because I've been having dreams, about different things that people have been talking about. And then I was reading through Revelation, and I said, America is not mentioned in Revelations. And I said, so, we're not going to be here. America is not going to be around when the end time comes. So what's going to happen to the land that we're standing on right now? What happens to it? Who owns it? Is it because it become a one world government? And this is the founding part of the one world government. And the more I started thinking about that, I thought, and the best way for them to take our country is just like with that, this one video that I want to play. And this is, I really do believe that this is the way that we're being taken down from the inside out, basically. And that was the only way to do it, because we're too strong for any other country to come here and bomb us and invade us with boats or whatever else. Even though we had our borders open, so many people could have came here, and we don't know who's still here, right? We're doing the best to get rid of them that we can, but it's I don't know, it's just really scary to me, I think. So hold on, I want to pull this one thing up. Oh, I don't know how to bring it up. I'm trying to figure out how to do it. It's a video. I'll have to do it that way, I think. So give me a second. I'm trying to figure it out. Gosh, I'm terrible at this. I wish I was better at it. Okay, it says video file. So now let me see if I can find it this way. It's right on the front of my computer, but I have no idea how to bring it up and share it. I mean, I just don't know how to do that. I wish I did. Part. I really wanted to share it.
Let me say this to kind of close out the last thing we were talking about, sort of tie it to this. Just take 1 second. General Flynn, when he was running for office, he used to say, I know where the skeletons are buried.
Yeah.
All right. So I know where the skeletons are buried too. It's like, I'm not the only person. He's not the only person. We know where the skeletons are buried. Now, what we have to do is, through the due process that they deserve, we have to provide all of this for the record in the court systems. But what we're up against, and our worst enemy, is the 30 years of indoctrination, or at least 20 years of indoctrination that really started with Obama about how horrible America is and blah, blah, blah. And I'll end this right here with, there was a woman, an American woman, who converted to Islam in 2020.
Yeah.
And up until that time in her social media, she said, accused us of blowing up the towers on 9/11, right? She converts to Islam in 2021, and yesterday they caught this woman with fucking bombs and all kind of shit, and she was going to blow up the governor's mansion where in New York. Have you seen that report yet? Oh, they busted her ass, man. She was going in this place and filming it, and she was carrying bombs in and doing dry runs, and she was going in there and scoping this place out, and they caught her. And so help me God, the stuff that she was doing and saying right now, this was an American woman. Now, if we got that kind of shit going on from them, what do you think the 29-year-old guys who their entire life all were told the only thing that you want 70 virgins, kill Americans, as many as you can. There are at least 50,000 of them in this country right now. That's, 1,000 a state. They could do some damage. I'm telling you, I'm worried about 9/11. I'm worried about 9/11. And the FBI is worried about 9/11. And all of us need to have our head out of our ass. If we go to public places, malls, I don't give a shit where you're going.
Like that video I showed you earlier.
You better keep your eyes open, man,
Yeah.
because that date's coming and they hate us. They hate us. They hate us.
Well, I want you to listen to what he says in this video, and tell me that every single thing he says isn't true. So here I go. I'm going to play it for you.
If I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree. Me. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of the serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old, I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions, just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who want it until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.
Scary, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, I mentioned even in this talk tonight that I was in a DJ and I was the night fly. I went by Seymour, but it's not the Seymour like my username. It was SEYMOUR because they all told me I acted like a Jew. And so I went by Seymour, and it was WYMX in Augusta at Rock 106. But every Sunday night at 3 a.m., I had to play that and the national anthem every Sunday at 3 a.m.
Well, my mother loved Paul Harvey.
Me
And
too.
my grandmother loved Paul Harvey, and they would listen to him every time he was on. And when I don't know, it wasn't my mom that gave me that. It was someone else. I don't remember who it was. But ever since they shared that with me, I listened to it, and I was like, every single thing he said is true.
Yeah.
At least from my point of view, it is. But I wanted to post this for Bruce. It says, I would prefer a future like Starship Troopers. If you guys have seen the movie, you'll know what he means. But I'll set it for a Star Trek future because there's no Muslims in the future either. in that future either. And so I was going to play this for him because I know he hates it.
They do have Klingons, though.
The thing is, I'm going to play this for him as a reward because I know he absolutely hates the song or the sound effects in this. Well, here we go. This is for you, Bruce. Thank you for the $10 or whatever it is. I don't know how this works, but here we go.
Oh my God! What the fuck? Oh my God!
Because he hates that sound effect. I know it. But I just had to do that for you, so you deserve it. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So I can take that down now. But yeah, I wanted to play that Paul Harvey going out because every single thing, and this is my opinion, that Paul Harvey said, just keep doing it, okay, because that's what the devil would want, is all I see the Democrats doing. And some rhinos, all rhinos. Anybody that's a rhino is basically a Democrat to me or a liberal. Because
Uniparty.
I'm not seeing, well, it's not a uniparty because people, there's a lot of, I can't remember their names, but this Kennedy, Senator Kennedy, and a few others. I just don't see them the same way as I see most of the other ones.
Yeah.
Because I see some of these people that are actually making videos, sharing information. Like you said, Senator Johnson, okay? They're not a uniparty. Those people are actually doing something. Remember, the state of representatives, okay, the state representatives passed the SAVE Act in February, okay, and put it on Thune's desk. Okay, so whoever's holding it there from then to now, they're the problem, okay? Because they haven't even done anything about it. They haven't even got all Trump's judges done yet. So when we do go to trials and we start putting all this stuff in federal court, who's going to be the judges? See, they're dragging their feet. They're dragging and dragging and dragging. Now it's almost November. Okay? They know exactly what they're doing. They do not want us, the American people, to be successful in what we voted for, which is Trump. And Trump's chosen people that he's picked to do the jobs that he's put them in there for. Because each of them can't finish their job because they don't have the people under them that they've asked for. See? That's how it works. And they're dragging Trump down the road, forcing him to go to the Supreme Court every time you turn around so he can't accomplish his goals. And then everybody bitches and moans, says Trump's not doing anything. He's not stopping the cheating. He's not stopping this. He's not doing anything because guess what? He's the president of the United States, not Alabama, not Georgia. Okay,
That's right.
He can't go to those states and force them to do something that's against their constitution. That's just not. He can't do that. He's the president. He's waiting for the people that we put into office in our states to do their damn job. So get off your ass, go to your senators and say, pass the SAVE Act. Only American citizens should vote in American election, period. It's that simple. But yet they are doing, I don't know, I don't have a clue whether they're being blackmailed or what, but they're not doing the job that we put them in there to do. And I can't help it. It just infuriates me because to me it's common sense. It's
supposed to be infuriated. It's wrong.
I know it is wrong. So what else can we do? You know? Even I have one. I have one of them in my own state, Tom Cotton. I'd never voted for him, but I don't agree with any of the stuff. Half the stuff he's decided to do. I don't know.
The parliamentarian is a constitutional attorney, and they're picked because they're supposed to know the Constitution better than anyone else. And apparently, according to Senator Mike Lee, she will not allow them to put it to come up to vote because she finds that there's something in it that's unconstitutional. Now, I also happen to know other people who talk about that who just say she's totally full of shit. Right? Somebody's pulling her strings, though.
Trump has already said he wants her removed and get someone else in there.
Somebody's pulling her strings.
But
I mean, I
somebody,
don't, I don't care about making
who's
this
that
a
somebody?
public
Is it
statement.
Pence? I mean, not Pence. JD Vance. Is he the one that can do that? Who's the one that can get her removed?
JD Vance. He's the one
Okay,
who
and
appointed
why
her.
hasn't he done it?
He appointed her.
Why hasn't he removed her if the president has asked him to?
I'm not in a position to make like personal
Okay, so you
comments about
you don't
active.
have an answer for that one. Well, all I know is I think it's ridiculous that we have all these people that say that they care, that they want something to happen, and that they want America to be fruitful and free, yet all their actions prove this just the opposite. That's no different than a man and a woman that get married and the wife grabs his wife by the throat and he's punching her in the face while he says, I love you, honey. I love you. What's the difference?
None whatsoever. That was
He's
a
a
really good
liar and he's full of
analogy. I
shit.
can tell you. That's a
Okay.
good analogy. The
Well, the
question
thing
is,
is,
why does she keep going back? Right?
well,
And
see,
that's us
I'm
in that
trapped.
picture.
I'm trapped
Yeah,
here.
that's
I
us in
live,
that picture, though.
I
Why do we
live in
keep going back?
America.
We're
I
getting
live
our
here.
ass beat and we don't do shit about it.
Well, I'm doing shit, but I wish more people would do something. But
Man,
there's
I'd be
no
like,
difference.
man, oh my God, this is a horrible story, but let me tell you something. It was during the Guns for Drugs. Remember I told you that Oliver North shit, and I was working we were doing dirty shit. Of course we were, right? So this one guy who was making silencers and bayonets for guns that we were trading for the cocaine, right? So we're trading that shit for cocaine. I'm at that guy's house, right? And I'm there with my cousin, and we're both really young, like 17, 18. I think he was 1 year older than me. I think I was 17 and he was 18. And this guy's name, it was Eddie Holiday. And he would beat his wife's ass right in front of me and Derek all the time. And it's like he always would put a knife on him before he did it.
Yeah.
Like he was a weirdo. He made guns and shit, right? And man, one day, me and Derek went over there. I think we were I don't know, we went over there to get some weed or something, and we walk in and they're in there and he's sitting at the dinner table and she walked up with a plate of spaghetti in her left hand and a 45 in her right hand, right in front of me and Derek. And we're little teenagers, right? And she pulled that trigger and it was the same thing that happened with that woman at that bar. He just fell forward right in his spaghetti plate. Me and Derek looked at each other and we looked at her. We said, we're leaving. I mean, I'm telling you, it was like, oh, fuck. That's the first time I ever learned about Pete
Did you
Mist.
ever watch the TV series 6 Feet Under?
Yeah.
Okay, I loved that show. I would make sure I was home every night when it was on because I never wanted to miss an episode. I absolutely loved it. It was so well done. And the stories were so interesting. But one of them opened up with that, where you have the husband sitting at the table, and he's complaining about you're fucking slob, you're a lousy woman. He's going on and on about his wife, and she's walking around in the kitchen making breakfast, making bacon and eggs, and he's sitting in there with his newspaper and his coffee and stuff, and she's taking different stuff in there, setting it on the table, and then going back in the kitchen with her slippers and stuff on. And then you see her go in after she set the whole table, and it's all nice and beautiful, and she goes in there and she gets the frying pan, and she just walks up behind him and she just goes bam, smashes him over the head. He falls over into his plate, and then she goes over to her seat and sits down and starts eating her breakfast. That, every single episode started with someone dying, and
yeah, I know. I used to watch that show. It was kind of morbid,
It was so good. I would love for us to do Bruce and I to do like a review on that, because I don't think Bruce has seen this series, and I have it all on DVD. I have one of those separate disc players that's separated from my computer, and I got to figure out how I can connect.
Yeah, that's right up his alley. By what we were talking before the show. It's like, man, he'll fall in love with that shit.
Like it. I just don't think he's seen it before. But we could do reviews on, like, watch one episode and do a review on it. I think that would be really cool. But I just thought it was a very well done show. But I loved the TV series Dexter also. I thought it was very, because I was reading the books.
Yeah,
The
those are
books are way,
star-studded
way
shows.
better with the story and the intrigue, you know, the way the story's woven in together is so much better. But it's always better when it's a book. But I love that they got who they got to play Dexter Morgan, and you know, I got to meet him, and I got his autograph, and you know, all this kind of stuff. So I don't know, I just really love that kind of stuff. But I like stuff that's entertainment, you know, because I know it's entertainment. I don't want to kill people, I don't want to hurt people, but I want something that keeps you entertained for the time that you've allotted for the show, whether it's an hour or 2 hours for a movie. You should be able to get away from reality, which is here at home where you cook and clean and you go to work and whatever you're doing. You need to step away from that and sit down and immerse yourself into somewhere else, right? Other characters, other things that are going on for your 2 hours that you paid for. That's what I want to get back to. I want to get back to where we can forget about all the stupidity of dumbasses that keep getting elected over and over again because dumbasses voted for them. I mean, I don't understand. I just don't understand it. But
Hey,
hopefully we can clean this up.
so we can
Before it
finish
goes
on a
that.
so we can finish on a positive note. You ought to pull up that meme I made today, and anybody that wants to use it, but it has a real pretty song that kind of
Is it on
starts
your
out.
X?
I think it's in the Discord chat.
Okay, let me go look, dig around real quick.
Yeah, make sure it's in there because I can send it to you real. It's just 1 minute, you know, because of copyright rules.
Let me see. Is it the one? Is it the Charlie Kirk thing?
No.
Okay, I'm going up still.
Let
Is
me
it
take a
above
look.
that? It says always tell the truth. That one?
No, that's not it. Let me send it to you real quick. It'll
Okay.
take 1 second.
Sorry, there's a few things in here, but I don't see that one's a meme. I mean, it says thank you. One side
I'll
for
send it
lies,
to you.
the other side's
Just
the truth.
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. Yeah, there it is. It said it sent it to you.
Okay, well, I
Oh,
don't see
hey.
it yet.
Yeah, hang on 1 second. That's it. Friday Night Shit Show.
Because I'm saying you can email them to me too, you know.
Yeah, it should pop up in the chat in just a second. Yeah, it's there.
Okay, well, I don't see it yet, so
Good.
I still see Tiffany's thing.
Yeah, it's showing on my screen. It might still be loading into yours. Anyway, I think the message in it is good and it's real soothing, and the way it ends is kind of soothing. And it's really the question we all really have to ask ourselves. It all bubbles down to one choice for all of us. I mean, I know what I choose, and I'm a very happy, peaceful person. You know, I got PTSD really bad, and it affects me physically sometimes. But I don't ever have emotional issues with it. It's just, you know, you get startled, and the tapes. You know, it's no memory ever goes away. Like I'm sitting here telling you about something that happened when I was 17, 50 years ago. And I mean, I remember everything about that night. I could go in that house right now and make it look the way it did. Those kind of traumatic things don't go away. And I was a baby then, and that wasn't my first rodeo by then already. I had already witnessed people being killed. So
I just saw Bruce's message. He said, if you need another panelist, I can be brought in. I didn't just now read it. I'm sorry, Bruce. I'm sorry. I don't look at my Discord and stuff, and I have my little.
you don't see that thing in the Friday Night Shit Show yet?
I don't. Oh, in that? Okay. I was looking in our messages.
Oh no, yeah, I sent it to the
Okay,
shit
so
show.
hold on. I got to go back over here. to the
Yeah,
far end.
anybody that wants to use it. I mean, I don't know. I
This
like
one,
it.
it doesn't matter which one you throw. That one.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, I've
Play
seen
that.
that one. I wish I'd known that's what you were talking about. I was looking in our messages
Oh no.
when you said that. So hold on now. I gotta share my screen.
Yeah, I love doing memes. I mean, you would think with my job and it's all serious and the stuff I have to do, but like you said, you crochet,
Right
right?
here?
And
Yeah.
this is what I do. I make memes.
Turn the music down.
Oh no, that's the best part.
Oh well, I don't want to play. I don't want to play it and get in trouble.
Oh no, I only did it 1 minute, so there's no copyright
You
issue.
sure? Because
Yeah.
even my tiny intro for this right here. Okay, I'm gonna show you this one here that I made right here. It's long and I get a copyright on every time I play it. I have to take it out of the video.
I mean, I loaded it up on my YouTube channel. They didn't say anything to me about it.
Well, I'll play it, but I guarantee if I get it, I'm gonna share it with you. I'm gonna show you.
Yeah, she's singing "Can We Change the World." It sounds a lot different when you're listening to it directly off. Anybody that wants to take that to download it, you feel free to do it. I don't
okay.
think there's any.
It's on your YouTube. It's up on there.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I get stuff they tell me all the time. Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that because of that on there. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I am an ASCAP BMI producer, right? So all my stuff gets a number on it anyway. I have to do it that way. And any credits that would go, it just automatically goes to whoever. So people like when I use their stuff, but I still have a 1 minute limitation.
Is that what he meant? You think when he was saying that's how I have to share it and it won't have an echo?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
What he was saying in the chat didn't make sense because normally I click on the little plus sign at the bottom down there, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. And when I click on it, it says share screen, image file, video file, camera, extra camera, or slides and PDFs. That's all it says. It didn't say what he was saying it said in the chat. So I didn't understand what he was saying. Now, it says present or invite, and that is what I would click on to get that to come up. So when I click on present, okay, it opens up. And when the screen opens up, then it says window and different stuff like that. But if I don't have a window, I can't share it off of my computer because I don't want to share the whole screen. I just want to share whatever it is that I want to share.
Yeah.
So I think that's what he was. That's the only thing I could think of.
Well, that little thing you just opened to mine, that's an image file. It's probably a VID or whatever, you know.
No, I shared it as a, hold on, I'm gonna share screen right now. It was a window. So what I did was I'm gonna try to open this window and see, but see now it's not a window. So I don't know how I would do that. Because if I share it as a Microsoft Edge tab,
yeah,
that's what I
what I sent you was the actual video that's in my picture folder.
No, I know that.
But I mean, I could send you a link to the movie, which is a whole different format and all. That's what goes on YouTube.
Yeah, but what I did was I shared it off of Discord. So I shared it off an app. Okay.
Yeah.
So it wasn't from my email, which would be another app. But what I'm saying is if I share this right here, I'm sharing it from a Microsoft Edge tab right here. See?
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that's what he was telling you. You can open more than one tab.
I know, but that's what I do. This is what I've been doing every night. I'm sharing a tab with everyone. And they say it echoes all the time, but I don't think it's this that's echoing. I think it's the other person that we have that has whatever system, theirs might be echoing and causing it. Because you and I aren't echoing. I'm not seeing anything in the chat of them saying that we're echoing.
No, we're not. Yeah, I don't have a problem.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't, I'm doing the same thing I've always done on what I was showed how to use it and how to bring them up. And that's what I'm doing. So I don't know why it would echo.
Well, I think that all that he was saying, Janet, is that if you have another tab open, right?
Yeah.
You can have that video in the other tab, right? So
Yeah, and that's
whenever
what I
you're ready
have.
for that to come on your screen, you click the tab and then click the actual
I know,
file.
and that's what I have open. I mean, I could take a picture right now. All my tabs, I have the live streams for my Rumble is open, remember? Because when I'm done, I have
Yeah,
to turn
right.
that off. And then I have a tab open for that video that I'm showing right now. And then I can close that. And then I go like this and say the same thing and open this other tab, which is right next to the other one. And that's what I'm doing. See, now it's this. See, it's the same thing.
Well, click play on that and let me watch what it does as far as screens and all.
CIA observed Venezuela conduct.
Okay, so that's playing through X, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you had the link to that video and you had another tab and you did a copy and pasted it in the other tab, then this whole X screen would just turn into the video playing. Now, do you understand?
Yeah, but I did that a while ago, and then I can't see anything. I can't go back to my chat or back and forth while we're talking. See, like right here, I'm on this screen where I'm at. But see, I can also play it and listen and be here where I can see you and I can see the chat and I can see everything. Or I have to go back over there, make it giant where I can't see anything. See what I mean?
Well, I mean, yeah,
in September of 2020, about 9 months after the assessment was made that there are machine vulnerabilities, CIA observed Venezuela conducting an experiment where they were able to successfully breach an election counting machine and change the votes. And by the way, change the vote counts without it being detectable in a post-audit or in a post-image review.
Yeah.
Hit Alt F4 at the same time.
Why?
Because it'll close that window.
See, now it's full all the way up again. And I can close it just like that.
Okay, yeah.
But was it echoing when
Successfully
I do this
breach
way?
an election counting machine
it echoes both
and
ways.
change the votes. And by the way,
Then I guess I can't use X anymore.
I mean, are you using headphones?
No, I've never used headphones before.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, go to headphones and it'll stop. That's the
I'm not
problem.
gonna wear headphones either, so I guess I won't be doing a show, because if it's gonna always echo, then I'm not gonna do it, because for years I've been doing it and never had a problem.
Well, I mean, sometimes what they do is they upgrade systems to be more sensitive. Like you got dynamic mics and you got compressor mics, condenser mics, right?
Yeah.
So when you're up on the stage, you want to use a condenser mic because you're like basically screaming in it. You don't want loud P's and T's and all that.
And I have a thing over here that says audio.
Right. And then a dynamic mic.
Reduce my background noise. Automatically adjust my mic.
Yeah, just I don't know.
I have all that set already.
Yeah, but what's happening is you have your mic open, right? Your mic is open. I've never seen the little muted thing on your name ever. So when your mic is...
I do this. The reason you don't see it is because I'm not clicking it on there. I do this.
Oh, I see. All right, so here's the thing. When your microphone is on and it's playing through your speakers, it's also supposed to be playing your mic at the same time. So in the system, it's playing it. It's coming out of the speakers, going back into your mic, and then your mic is going in. And that's what the echo is what the mic.
The mic, I've had the same mic, the same camera, the same computer, the same everything. And then all of a sudden it happens. And now I have an echo,
well,
which I never had before.
If I was looking at it as a hardware issue, I would go straight to that about either headphones or make sure and mute while you're...
I mean, if I have to wear headphones with wigs every time, I'm not going to do it anymore. I just
oh my God, they got stuff now that people can't even see in your head.
Yeah, but I don't have the money to go buy a whole bunch of Bluetooth headphones.
All right. I'm not in all your shit. I'm just trying to help you understand what can do it.
I understand. If they say I have to wear headphones, then I just won't be doing it anymore because I'm not going to.
Well, I mean, you can change your speakers and change your microphone, and there's all kind of ways you can
I have a new mic because the one I used to have was on one of those little things that bounces around or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Up here, and it crashed or whatever. So I got this new one which goes with this camera, and I've not had any problems with it either. And then one day in Discord, they said, "Oh, I hear an echo." I'm like, "Where? Why?" And I don't know.
Well, here's a software fix for that, right? So you're on a computer, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So in your computer hardware, if you go to the hardware settings, and you can go to your just do search bar and type device manager, it pops this little thing up, and you can adjust settings on the microphone. The microphone may be set to do that, or playback may be set to do that. So you have to go in there and make sure that there's not like a surround sound button click, or there's a check mark for whether you're using a condenser or a dynamic mic, because that adjusts the software how it picks that up. So if it's echoing through playback.
Question about that?
Yeah.
Okay, if I'm using the same software, the same computer, same microphone, and same camera since I first installed it and started doing this, right? And I've never went through and changed anything for the mic or the condenser or whatever, all this other stuff, then how come all of a sudden it started doing it?
Well, what I said in the beginning, they when Bruce said it was an upgrade, they did, right? Well, they can change those things. What?
That's what I'm trying. Who did the upgrade?
Oh, he said that Discord upgraded their interface.
Yeah, but it's not. We're not on Discord. We are on StreamYard and on Microsoft whatever Edge.
Well, I mean StreamYard. I'm sorry, I said Discord.
That's all right. I was.
Yeah, StreamYard. Right. They updated the StreamYard drivers. They can make an adjustment to the dynamics or the reverb, or those are actually settings that you can get to inside your computer hardware, and it's in the device manager. You can find that in the control panel, but if you just want to go directly to it.
How to stop echoing when you have Microsoft Edge on your computer or whatever, and I have an Alienware computer, then I should be able to go in there and
there's settings for it right there. In other words, there's this layered bunch of settings that you want to, right? How do I want my Microsoft to sound? How do I want this kind of stuff?
The only bad thing about that is, how do I do it when I'm just sitting here in front of my computer and I'm not doing a live stream to know whether or not it works?
You open up Edge and you go to the top right thing and you click your face or whatever. I think theirs is up on the top right, and it'll pop up a thing, and you go to preferences, and on preferences you go to audio, and in audio you look at all the settings.
Okay, I just clicked on it and it says passwords, profile settings. Is that where you'd go?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna click on that. Now what do y'all look at?
You're just looking for audio settings, video settings. There should be a place to adjust them there. If there's not, it's just in a different sub menu up there. Usually the hardware settings are in what's called preferences, because those are associated with hardware.
Okay, I don't see any preferences. I see privacy, search services, Copilot and AI, appearance, default browser.
I would ask Copilot. Say, Copilot, where can I adjust my audio settings? And it'll give you the link.
Okay, let's see.
I totally love the way it works. Oh my God. I've forgotten more shit, man, than anybody will ever learn, because I started all this before Windows. And I mean, oh my God. That's what half those books back there behind me are. programming books and hardware books, and not half of them, maybe one shelf, but it's a lot.
Okay, I typed that in and it doesn't say anything. No search results found.
All right, that's just for Edge though. So you would want to do the same thing in your search bar on the bottom. What you're using Windows? You would go to where the start button is. Yeah, and then you click device manager in there, and then that's where the actual hardware settings come up.
Okay,
If there's no way to adjust it inside of StreamYard, I mean, I would call StreamYard tech support and tell them. It might have happened to everybody and no one just bothered to call them and tell them what's up and it's something they need to adjust.
Well, they now have this little thing you can talk to, a chat with AI thing. I'll just have to ask that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do.
All right.
Yeah, because they'll do a database run on that large language model from all the input it gets. Mm-hmm. And whatever the most complained about thing is will be number one priority. I mean, AI does amazing shit. It does a lot for me, I can tell you that. It saves a lot of work.
Yeah, every so often somebody says something to me on here, but I don't know who it is, and I don't know how to open it up. So I don't know what it's called. See, I don't know enough about it, but oh well. I do the best with what I have. I don't know. It only happens once in a while, and it's only when I have certain people on that it happens. It doesn't happen with everything. At least nobody's saying it's happening, because I never hear it. I never hear the echo. So
I hear it, but I don't hear it on everyone. It's weird. That's why I say I think it's a setting somewhere about reverb where you can turn it on and off.
The thing is, what's weird is, how do you fix something when it happens here, but it doesn't happen there? So if you turn the setting down, then it's going to affect the one that it didn't affect before. So I don't know. That's what I don't understand. See what I mean?
Yeah, I'd run it by StreamYard. That's what I'll do. And if they have a chat bot to help, that's probably the best way to do it.
Well, yeah, that's all I can think of doing. I don't have any. I'll try to do it tomorrow morning before I'm supposed to play that game. So we'll see. If I can do anything, because nobody said anything about playing the game on Discord that it echoes there. So it's like it echoes when I do one thing, it doesn't echo when I do that, and it echoes when I do that. Even if I'm on Discord, it echoes once in a while.
Well, did you recently add another place that you're sending it? Another stream service where you're sending the live stream? I mean, I would just. We're sitting here trying to really troubleshoot it, but there's a lot of things that could change.
This one, because this is the one I paid for a whole year, and I paid for a year because it was cheaper per month, so I paid for a whole year. And so I'm stuck with it until that year's done. And I have tried other ones, because Bruce has a different one, and other people that I've got on their channel has different ones, just like you connected with your phone. And I just get on the link, and they use their software to be on their show, right? It has nothing to do with mine, because I'm not using mine. So I don't know.
I got to replace my desktop. I mean, I got backup drives. I have backup drives that go with files before Windows, man. Yeah. And so I got all my shit, but a lightning strike took out my desktop.
Yes, my computer crashed early last year, but I took it in, and I had to pay a few $100s, and the guy said I didn't have enough memory or something. I don't know what it was. I don't remember exactly what he said. And he fixed it, and had to put stuff back on it again. And
yeah, it's a pain in the ass when you got to start over, because most people, they throw their disk pack away. You go get one, it comes in a box and there's a disk pack, and one of those things in whatever Windows version you get has all that software on it. And people think, I don't need that. I got backup, blah, blah. No, you need that disk.
Well, even if I had that stuff, I don't know how to use any of that stuff. I'd have to take it to somebody anyways.
Yeah, no, it's pretty easy now. You just, whenever that happens, you put
I don't have discs anymore. There's no discs.
That's what I just said. Most people throw them away.
No, right? I don't have a slot to put stuff in. Mine doesn't.
Well, I mean, you could use a floppy. You can use those. What do you call them? The
USBs.
Thumbnails. Yeah, thumb drives.
So, and
Yeah.
a couple
Like
times
I said, it's a lot better now.
I've plugged in headphones into the deal, but I don't wear them. I just plug them in because I can still hear on my speakers and stuff. So, and they say they don't hear the echoing anymore. So I don't understand any of that. I don't know how that works.
Because there's loop. I know you're not a technical person, but coming from a nerd who's been working on this shit since I was 15 years old, you have loops inside the software, right? And so
I understand that part of it. I'm just
okay,
saying,
so there's multiple processors, right? You
I
got
gotta
your
fix it.
CPU, you got your sound card, and you got your video card. All three of those are audio processors, and there's a chain they go down. Once you start playing the video, though, the video wants to play the audio. Then you got the audio card, it's reading the same thing, and it's like, I'm supposed to be playing that. And then there's internal audio in the CPU. And if all three of those want to play, they're all going to be like 0.003 of a second off. And that causes the reverb. So like when I'm in the studio, we like put pads all up on the wall and shit. And we don't want any echo at all. We just want just like flat, dead. And we're looking for the level that we're getting recorded so we get signal over noise in the.
So how come it's
and
not
then
doing
we
that?
add the reverb after. We add reverb after. I know nobody wants to hear that, but that's how it
But if you're
works.
wearing headphones, why does that change it?
Because that's another loop in the system. Most headphones now have a microphone on them where you got to push your finger. So it's all how many wires, right? You got processors in there that have two little
What if you get
pins.
headphones that don't have a microphone?
That's what you need to do. But I would get.
No, but what I'm
You
saying
can get
is,
earbuds.
if you're wearing headphones, okay, and you're doing it, how does, if it's going through that 1, 2, 3 system anyways, why does the headphones keep you from having an echo? What
Oh no, I'm saying that's a whole separate issue. You could just have one microphone, right? Play it through your speakers. And if your mic isn't muted, it's doing exactly what I just said. It's processing your microphone, right? It's processing the speaker. So it goes to the speaker.
I'm going to try one thing then. I'm going to play that same video again, but this time I'm going to mute my thing and we'll see if there's an echo, because you said there was an echo a while ago, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. I'm going to try it that way.
Change the vote counts without it being detectable.
No echo at all.
During a post-image review.
I told you sometimes it echoed and sometimes it didn't, and that's when it's not echoing. When
as it was working its way up to the vote counting area, a mirror server was created. Somebody sucked the real votes off, placed fake votes in. And
yeah, I told you that's what it was. It was looping through your speakers back into a mic somewhere, and I knew that. You're muted.
See, and you didn't see it down there, did you? Because see, I have it turned off by touching it. I just have to touch my mic and it mutes.
Yeah, well, that's all you got to do. So we figured it out. And it really was the very first thing I said, that somewhere you got a mic picking it up.
I've tried all these different things on Discord, on here, and on a few others. And sometimes it worked, and other people said, no, I still hear an echo, even though mine was muted, even though you couldn't see it was muted because I did it.
Right.
Oh, and they said they still heard the echo. So I knew well, it's not me. See?
You want to know what I bet? I bet every now and then you mute on the same thing I mute on your screen with your mouse or whatever, or touch it with your finger. And there's a difference between which one you turn off.
Well, here, I'm going to mute this one down here.
All right. It says it's muted. Now play that thing and let me see what happens.
Get more information about all of it. Thank you. Well, breaking moments ago, the FBI says it disrupted
no echo.
Terror plot in New York. The agency tells Fox they've arrested a 35-year-old Albany woman.
Now it's echoing.
Plotting to bomb the state capitol and kill lawmakers. According to a criminal complaint, Jessica Bowie
pledged
allegiance to ISIS and allegedly planned
Yeah,
to
you have
bomb
two
inside a
live mics
DoorDash
doing
bag,
it. That's what it
hoping to
was.
strike while state senators were meeting. Governor Kathy Hochul expected to speak next hour.
Yeah, I can't hear
We
you,
could
but
get
I'm
more
not hearing the
information
echo.
on
have
all
one
of this.
mic.
Thank
There
you.
can't be two
Well, breaking
mics.
moments ago, the FBI says it disrupted a potential ISIS-inspired terror plot in
Oh,
New
I don't think
York.
that's
The
right.
agency tells Fox they've
You better
arrested
be funny, man.
35-year-old
These
Albany
modern
woman
these
accused of plotting
modern
to bomb the state capitol
monitors,
and kill lawmakers.
they all have
According
mics
to a
built
criminal
into them.
complaint,
Every
Jessica
last one of them.
So that means I need to turn off the mic in my monitor.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, when you turn off either one of these, either one of them, when you turned it off, the echoing went away. When you take it back, when you open it back up from either signal, it's telling both of them to open. You see what I'm saying? You got one switch and two devices.
Okay.
So every time you put it on, both come on. Every time you turn one off, both cut off.
No,
That's
see,
the issue.
If I turn this one off, right here,
Right?
put it on, off, like that. See how
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I understand that, but see, you're not playing anything back right now. That's what I'm trying to say. That when you when you hit the off mic button, it's sending the turn off signal to both of the mics. And I promise you, that's the problem. You have another mic somewhere.
How do I turn off the mic for my monitor?
It's going to be in hardware settings.
Okay.
I mean, if you go to device manager, right, where I was telling you to go in the device manager, and you click on their microphones are one of the things listed.
Wait a minute. Let me just end the show, and then we can talk about it afterwards.
All
I'm
right.
sure we're boring everyone to death talking about this shit because I have no fucking idea what I'm doing, and I should just go put on a blonde wig and then just say. That's what I
Listen,
should
let me tell you, just when you're in Windows on the start bar, go in that little box and put device manager, just like it's spelled, 2 different words. It's going to pop up this menu, and then there's a list of microphones in there. It says microphones. There's a little plus by it. Click on that one and go in there, and it's going to tell you which each mic is, right? And if one of them says monitor mic, just click disable mic, right?
Okay.
Which you should be doing anyway, right?
I never knew that, but if I do disable it, will it ever come back on again without me touching
Yeah,
it?
you go back to the same place and click
I gotta
enable.
turn it off every day?
No, here, wait. When you set your monitor up, it asked you, do you want this microphone activated? Or it came already activated, because I tell everybody when I go in people's house, I show them where their one is on their TV, on their computer mic, whatever. Like, don't leave this on. It's like Siri. It's like Siri and Alexa. It hears every fucking
thing.
thing.
On because I didn't even know it had one. It didn't ask me. So
go to device manager, look at microphones, and see what it says.
I will after I end the stream. I will.
Yeah, that's cool.
But thank you everybody, and hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Mine's already started off like shit.
What?
Because I can't do my computer. You know,
we figured it out.
No, we haven't. I still have an echo until I can figure it out. Then it'll be nice then.
Wait, when you turned off either spot, when you muted this.
I have a microphone that's on somewhere that I haven't turned off yet. So it's not fixed. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. Well, I told you how to fix it.
All right. So we'll see. But thank you, everybody. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Say bye.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for stepping by.
Bye, everyone.
American COVID-19 vaccine deaths, it ranges from about 470,000 from Pfizer alone up to 840,000 American deaths from the COVID-19 vaccines. We have to remember that that is rivaling the American soldier death toll of World War I, World War II, Vietnam, and the Iraq War combined.